All right, this week we had a great chat with Blake Moller in studio. He's coming off a few good years. He filmed a great part with Camp Robbers. He won the Freeride World Tour a few years ago, but this year was a big one for BMO. He just came off second place at Natural Selection. We talk all about it in the show. We also talk about how he's a wild man. This guy loves skydiving, speed flying, all types of maniac activities. He's also got this really nonchalant approach that I found very endearing, considering he's one of the best snowboarders on planet Earth. I think you guys are going to love this chat. I know I certainly did. But before we get into it, I just want to say thank you so much to all the Patreon members that support the show and all the sponsors that came on board. Woodward, Bubs, Pub Beer, Arbor, Yeti, Herschel, and Smith. Thank you guys so much. And lastly, if you want to show support for the show in a major way, 70% of the people that are listening are not subscribed. So if you're listening or watching on YouTube, just subscribe to it. That would help us out a ton. And I will shut the hell up so we can get into the BMO episode. Here we go.
You are listening to the
Hey, MFM. See you on the lift. Back attack, dude.
Bon voyage!
Get that damn car off of the hill.
Slide down them big hills. You know what I mean? On the big, nice burgundy snowboard.
All right, folks, we got a big show today. Welcome to the Bomb Hole, presented by Run Through a Wall. Smelling Salt's the best company on planet Earth. Now today, co-hosting, to my right, we got Seth Hewitt. What's happening, Seth?
Not a lot. Stoked to be here. Thanks, Chris.
Pumped you're in stew. Silk D, unfortunately, is not joining us this morning. I think you will come in halfway through the show, so not to disappoint you guys, but Silk should be here at some point. And the man of the hour to my left is Blake Moller. What's happening?
What's up, guys? Yeah, I'm super hyped to be here. Thanks for hitting me up. Freaking amped.
We're hyped that you're here. How you feeling coming off of this Natural Selection second place?
Dude, yeah, I'm so pumped. That was so fun, just getting to ride with like such a high caliber of riders and be a part of it. It was, ever since it really like started, I've been wanting to get in there. So it was an honor to be up there, and then to finally make it like through all the stages. It was sick because my girlfriend and my family was there, so it was kind of like a roller coaster as well. Like the qualies day like was looking super sketch the whole day, and then final run, final person, whatever, then made it through. So then I like go down and like hug my dad. He's like borderline crying, you know. It was like so sick. And then the next day like just kept making it through. Like, yeah, it was so fun. It was
I
awesome.
feel like you took the most runs out of anybody there,
Dude,
because you had to go to
yeah.
the third round on a bunch of stuff too.
Yeah, it was sick. It was just how I planned it.
I want to talk about how your whole family came out, right? The whole squad.
Yeah, both my brothers, my mom and dad, and then my girlfriend Carly. It was so cool.
That's incredible. Now, I was talking to Harrison yesterday, your team manager.
Nice.
Great
Yeah.
TM. He was there for the experience.
Yep.
But one thing that he brought up was that Nils was there, and Nils was kind of acting as a soundboard for some strategy for you while you were there.
Nils is very strategic. Yeah, he, I'd get down at the bottom and like I'd bolt right to him, especially on the finals day. Like he unfortunately got knocked out early. So as soon as I I feel like you plan like one, maybe two runs, and I go down there, go straight to him. I'm like, what should I do? He's like, maybe you could go over here. Like he was showing, we all have different photos of stuff, so he was like definitely helping me out. And yeah, he was cool. He even like went up on the qualies day because he nailed it the first day. He qualified the very first run. So like he went up there and was like giving me water. He was like full Coach Nils. It was sick. Yeah, he's the man.
Somebody told me, or Harrison told me, that you were going big mountain kind of free ride vibes, riding the big lines, and maybe he gave you some advice. Hey, they're scoring freestyling like tricks a little better. Maybe make a pivot.
Dude, he totally did. Yeah, he was like, yeah. First day seemed like they were totally rewarding doing tricks, on the jumpy side. So, and he nailed it. Like went front nine, crazy run, like did all the stuff. So I was like, oh, maybe. After he told me that, I was like, okay, we'll go try and do these whatever tricks that were looking sketch. So no, it was cool. Nils is the absolute man. He's a huge like mentor to me. Any like question I have about like contractual stuff for like brands, like I always hit him up and he just hits me with it straight. He's the man.
Yeah, that's rad. I got another question too. It's you and Stale battling for the win. You're at the very end. Stale puts down a heater run, and at the top, are you like, I'm going back 7 on this savage cross-court finger deal.
Dude, I actually wanted to go back 5 on it. That was the plan with Nils. I was like, dude, I think I want a back 5. He's like, do it. And then I went into it and I was like, back 7, just kind of like spazzed out. I was like, no way. And so no, it was fun. I would rather have like done that than like straight air. Like I'd rather do that, eat shit on something that I was like hyped to try than just like straight air and whatever, So it was, definitely don't like, not tripping on any of it. I'm tripping on a high from it all. So
yeah. It feels like everybody's been saying, "Oh, BMO's the truth." I haven't ridden with you much, but I've seen you up at Brighton, and every time I look up at you flying off something, I just see you land something savage. Like anytime you're strapped in, it's happening. But everybody's like, Miles has been saying, BMO's the truth, and PMAC and all these people, and even me, I'm gonna take some credit on this. But I was like, I told Travis on the ski-doo thing we were on, I'm like, Trav, BMO's gonna fucking win, dude. BMO's gonna win the whole thing, dude. And he's like, and I don't know. So it's cool to see, everybody's seen you rip for years, and to finally kind of get the shine I think you deserve at this thing had to feel good.
Dude, thank you. Yeah, it was like, it's a fun platform just to kind of show, to give it your all, I guess. So yeah. But thank you for the love. That I definitely heard like on a podcast, like way before the duel, you were like, I got BMO, dude. Like he's my guy. So it was that I think I was actually in Jackson with my brother, like listening to it, and it was like after we did the duel and the whatever, it was like super tight, and I was like, I was super hyped. It was sick.
Yeah, it started. So then just to get there, you had to take down Gabe Ferg, which is not an easy task.
Dude, yeah, that was heavy. He was riding good too. He was on, and I got lucky on that one, honestly. Like just Hail Mary back 7, like, and that was fun. But that was kind of a sketchy, like, well, not sketchy. It was just kind of like dicey. Like we were waiting to get in the helicopter the whole time at High Mountain Heli, and we did this. Like this was like day 2, and Travis kind of put this whole thing together. He's like, well, this is kind of what we need to do to just at least have like a backup event. So that was on like we got there Monday, and that was on Tuesday, and we were waiting to get in the heli until like Sunday. So at Sunday afternoon, we're like, okay, I guess we'll just use the first day that we went to. But yeah, it was cool. It was super fun.
So you're like, oh, it's over. We did it.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Cool.
No, it's fun though.
All right, we got a Patreon question. Thanks to all the Patreon members that support the show. We really appreciate this. Appreciate you guys coming on board so we can talk to people like Blake. So thank you to all of our Patreon members. This is from Josh A. He says, I'm a 32-year-old about to try a freeride comp for the first time. Just a little IFSA 1 qualifier at Arbor. Fuck. How's it
Arapahoe.
Arapahoe.
Oh, nice. A Basin.
It's A Basin. I didn't realize that's what it's called. Mm-hmm. Any tips / advice to get the most out of the experience if I decide to compete in future events? You just did good. What's the tips for riding in a freeride comp?
Wow. I would say definitely don't try to do too much. Like don't do like the 5-foot back 3 like lifestyle, whatever, like you can get pretty caught up in thinking about all the points and stuff and like how to rack it up. But I think just for me, like you find like the one thing that excites you the most on the whole thing and then kind of tie it together from there, whether it's like at the top, in the middle, at the bottom or whatever. And I think that kind of always makes it look and feel the best. So yeah, Josh, go get it. Ride fast.
Ride fast. Okay. That's a great question. And actually I have a question from your brother, Griffin, here.
Oh, nice.
And I think that this is an interesting one in regards to what we're just talking about. Here we go.
Yo, Blake, it's Griff. So stoked you're on the bomb hole. Just want to say it's so sick all that you've accomplished this season. One thing about your riding that really stands out to me is your speed and your ability to stay on your feet through tricky lines or big airs. You just have this spidey sense to your style that's so fun to watch. I'm wondering if you feel like riding with T and I and growing up in a family of skiers has influenced your riding today. Leader never falls. Love you, bro.
Damn. Leader never falls. Yeah, I love you too, Griff. That's sick. Yeah, for sure. Grew up with a family of skiers, and they obviously go fast, and their idea of powder is completely different than ours. So, but for sure, like, it's kind of just keep up kind of vibe. And I remember when I was super young, like, doing USASA and stuff, I would like just get like angry. Like I wouldn't even want to like ride with them because they would just like be doing the bumps, whatever, and it's just like not fun. And then finally, like years later, found the fun in it of like trying to there's always a good line, no matter where you're. Like, you just have to try and find it. And they're freaking like so good at not even thinking about it and like weaving through any sort of bump or like whatever mashed potato, like finding like transition off like a shitty landing, you know. So it's they're definitely like 100% the reason why I snowboard like I do.
It seems like it's like skier. Your brother was explaining this to me when I talked to him yesterday, but like skiers kind of generally arc like bigger turns, right?
For sure, yeah, like giant slalom kind of vibe, yeah.
Yeah, and that seems like the way you ride. And also, skiers, when you watch like the Freeride World Tour versus like snowboarders, or I guess the Free Ski World Tour or whatever, versus the snowboarders, it's like savage. They're like big mountain savages.
Dude, it's crazy. Yeah. What they do, it's insane. It's so cool. And it's cool because they like also want to bounce ideas off of us, you know? So they want to do their gnarly shit at the top and then like find like a cool little like tranny find or something, you know? So it's cool to bring it all together. And I think that that's like what Griff's kind of getting at. Like, you know, love to get inspired from them and their speed and how they hit whatever. And then like also kind of feeling the snowboarder touch on it, you know, and trying to like
they're
make it your own.
Trying to give their skiing like a surfy feel, like snowboarding, like different lines like that. That's
for
cool.
sure. Yeah,
that's cool. There's like a take both ways
for sure. Yeah, no, it's cool. And growing up with skiers was honestly like, it was, looking back now, it was really sick. Never was ever like, oh dude, like fuck skiers. Like I've always loved riding with my family and their friends. So yeah. It's always super fun.
Yeah, that's good vibes. I feel like a lot of snowboarders just ride with snowboarders. Yeah, more commonly.
Yeah. For sure, yeah.
But I want to go back to natural selection because I heard you had you got on the podium. You obviously, showed the world your skill set. And the next day, I heard a rumor that maybe Travis kind of linked up with you in the sauna. I would like to hear about that.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah. So I was, I totally forgot. Sorry. My good buddy Noah Skelly was out there too with my family. He's like a brother. That's why I just, said family. But he was out there and we were walking back from the sauna the day after. And I was like you're at this nice hotel. You're like taking advantage of the slippers and the robes or whatever. So I was like walking back with the robe, just like chilling. And he's like, yo, what up? Ping me later. I want to chat with you. That was it. Like walking by, I was like, okay. I was with my buddy and he's like, I was like, wonder what that's going to be. And so I texted him later. It's like, yo, here I am hitting you up. Like, what's up? And he's like, oh yeah, just come to the restaurant. And he did. And then go to the restaurant. He's like, yo, come for a ride. Like, we're going to go for a ride to town, like in his car. I was like, okay. Obviously not going to say whatever, it was like, for sure. And we kind of like get chatting, whatever. He's like, what are your plans the rest of the year? I was like, oh yeah, just kind of filming the 686 video, whatever. He's like, cool. He's like, kind of have an open seat in a helicopter up at Wiggly's. I was maybe going to bring a photographer, but I kind of want to bring you. And I was like, I'm there. Like, just let me know. He's like, cool. I'm just going to draft up an email that you just forward to your sponsors. And he like buttered up this really nice email and literally just like forwarded it right to them. And it was like, however much they need to pitch, whatever, this and that. And then Wiggly's kind of fell through because the snow and just, shit happened. And he made Alaska happen like super last second. So just got back from that like a week ago with him. And that was insane. Like seriously, so messed up. It was so sick. The weather was a little difficult. Like we didn't really like score that kind of like, Alaska. Like it was amazing, no doubt. But it wasn't like some... we weren't like riding the Wizard or like some crazy shit like that. It was so cool though. So fun.
We got a guest question from PMAC in regards to this. Here we go.
Yo, Bombhole, what's up? This is Patrick McCarthy. Heard you got Blake Moller in the booth. BMO, how we doing? Yo, I just caught some wind. You might be heading up to AK to get in the heli with Travis Rice, the man, the myth, the legend. Any fear on the mind, or are we just ready to rip?
Sarge, thank you. Shout out. He's the best. Love that guy. No, I was super scared on the flight. I was like, I was falling asleep the 3 nights before because it was like pretty last second. I didn't really know, and he called me. He was like, yo, we're going to meet here on the 5th. I was like, okay. So booked a ticket, and then those 3 following nights fell asleep to Art of Flight every single night. Just like watching, like trying to figure out, like actually like watching more than I ever have, like looked at AK, like seeing where they're putting their stuff, this and that, before you're just kind of like, oh, like, damn, you went big. That was sick. You know, I was actually like trying to like figure it out. And so, yeah, I was super terrified. And then we get there and it was super sick. Like, he was like, dude, he's like, we're not going to just like go to the biggest thing we see. Like, we're going to kind of like work our way. So it was super, super cool. And by the end of it, I was just like wanting more, you know. And we were actually even like trying to go back because we had leftover hours. So like literally the other day, I was going to go back and then the guides fell through this and that and like some shit happened. But so he left and I think it even got a little warm there. But yeah, Travis, don't forget about those 6.5 hours we have left because I'm definitely trying to go back. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to keep rifling through guest questions because we also have one from Travis. Here we go.
No.
Bomb hole, Travis here. Always a pleasure. Fired up, you got Blake in the booth. Look, I helped produce the duel with you and Fat Gabe earlier this year in Jackson. I must say you have a nice set of shocks. Those things are aftermarket. Fox floats are better. I witnessed you take the finish line in Revelstoke, the natural selection, and we just snuck away for a noble attempt at linking into some of Alaska's finest terrain. However, only really got to tickle the dragon as we had some pretty challenging weather. But, BMO, I got to say, like a racehorse in the stall. I could see what you were trying to do up there. Yeah, a pleasure. Be along for a few of these moments this season. Question, where do you want to take your riding? You and I feel a select few others are already ushering in a new generation of full spectrum snowboarding. What are you after? And where do you find your inspiration? Love it.
That's a heavy guest question. Not the question, it's a fair question, but just to hear him, that's cool. Damn, yeah, it was cool. I got to like pick his brain a little bit. We had more off days than on days, so I was chilling with him a bunch. But I think, obviously find a lot of inspiration from what he's done up there over the years. And I definitely want to take my riding to those mountains, like 100%. I think that's exactly where I want to be. And yeah, it just kind of makes sense. But I think, obviously want to keep pushing myself in whatever way that looks. But I was talking to him and like, we were like, oh, I wonder like where this whole freeride thing is going to go. And I don't know if it'll be like more like spin to win type shit, like how it is on the other side of the world, or on the other side of the industry. But I think it'll kind of be more like, doing things in heavier places, maybe, with like, not like looking for like, oh my God, I'm going to do a freaking back seven over this 500-foot cliff and make a turn. Like, not like that, not like crazy, but I think just kind of like, I don't know. I just want to do stuff that I'm proud of and like scare myself, because that's when you feel the best. When you scare yourself, land, and get away and make it look good. So definitely find a lot of inspiration from Travis and like John Jay and all that, what they did up in Alaska is like unbelievable. So I kind of just want to like keep carrying what they were doing, because I don't think that that's even been like remotely touched at all. Not saying that I will, but they're just like, that's a good inspiration. Be like, I want to get there, and then if possible, see what, I don't know. Think that all happened pretty naturally, but definitely want to be in Alaska as much as possible after being there for a little bit. But thank you for the question, Travis. That's sick.
Yeah, that's well said. First of all, I want to touch on Travis's vernacular is unbelievable. So I love the tickled the dragon analogy. You're likening your body to your knees to snowmobile suspension.
Yeah, he said that a couple of times in AK too.
You say something about power to weight ratio?
Yeah, he said, it's like, dude, yeah. Oh, what was it? That was so funny.
It's a milestone.
Your weight to strength ratio is ridiculous, man. That's what he said. It's like, thank you. Yeah. So it was awesome though. Yeah, it was cool.
Going back to what you just said too, I think when you look at what we would call maybe big mountain freestyle, right? Like the greats like Gigi and Nicholas and Travis and Bodie, they're like, Bodie's doing back rodeo sevens in the middle of AK lines. Dude. And I was talking to Sage, it's like, we're at a place where, Sage can back 1080 double cork a finger, like a back seven would have been 10 years ago. It's the similar level of difficulty for you guys now.
For sure, yeah.
Not to say more spin to win, but doing freestyle tricks in spicy terrain is timeless and can be pushed, it seems like.
Totally, yeah. And I think to go back to like expand on like what I also like find inspiration, what I want to do is like the way Manuel Diaz rode Alaska, no one's rode that fast, that gnarly, that like, and you can tell his older brother, I think, is like an insane skier. And you can see that like correlation, like that's like, you know, so yeah, I think that like a mix of all three of them, I think in those mountains would be something, personally, I think would be something pretty cool.
Totally. And going back to the skier thing, you know, you look at the North Face project that came out this year. What's it called? With De La Rue.
Circle of Madness.
Oh, yeah.
Circle of Madness.
Dude.
Yeah. And
that was messed.
And you have a skier and a snowboarder going bonkers. I know Sage just went to Alaska with Colby Stevenson, you know, and it's kind of like, doesn't matter what you're on, but you put a couple dogs together in AK, it's insane.
Dude, for sure. And then you just feed off each other, you know? It's like, they want to ski like a boarder, and I think boarders hate to admit it, but especially in those mountains, you kind of got to take a little bit of what they do, and you know, you're not going to be like just like doing your little like 20 or like 40 turns that, you know, you're going to have to let it go fall line. So
yeah, it's like,
go ahead,
putting a trick into spicy terrain with consequence, where it's like a no fall zone.
Yeah,
and most people would just be like, just dropping in would be a thing, and then putting a trick into that's just next level.
Yeah.
Mind blowing. Like, it's exciting to watch where you're going to take it.
Yeah. So. No, dude, thank you, Seth. Yeah. We had the most epic day at Brighton. Years, like still the best day I've had on any resort. It was so sick.
Was that the Thin Man day?
Yeah. Seth was just showing me around. It was so cool. It was just, who was it? It was like you, Bob, myself, and maybe like Goop, or I kind of forget who else was there. But
was it Goop?
Maybe.
Probably Goop.
Yeah.
Goop was definitely there one of the days.
He was, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was so sick.
Well, we got a signed print of the backflip in Thin Man.
Yeah.
And tee it up, Seth.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because I was like thinking about this story and riding with Blake, and we were just like one of those like weird score days at Brighton where you just show up and everything's on, and I don't even know how we linked up that day. It was just like in the lift line.
Yeah, in the line, yeah.
And then we're riding up the lift. We did a run, I think, somewhere. And then we're riding up the lift, and I look over to the left because, you know, you can just scope the whole zone. And I'm like, Blake, you should hit Thin Man. And you're like, what's Thin Man? Yeah. And I'm like, oh, you see that massive cliff over there with the bushy stump on top? You take off just rider's left and land in that tight little apron.
Yeah.
And he's all sick. And I'm like, all right, cool. And then we're with Bob randomly too. And it was like, okay, you go there, I'll meet you on top, and then I'll get Bob like lined up down that chute so he can shoot it. So do that, and you're just like, I roll up to the top of the cliff, and you're like sitting there just in the snow, just like, what's up? And I'm like, okay, so yeah, here it is, and it's like, there's a takeoff, and like, you're gonna be right next to the wall, it's gonna be huge, and you're gonna land, and whatever, and you're like, cool, I think I got it. Yeah. And I'm just like, why are you so chill? This is Thin Man. This is like in Thin Man Cliff at Brighton. Like there's the trifecta that Jeremy and JP and I kind of like named. It's like the three biggest stuff. I mean, there's bigger, I'm sure, but like the three hitters, right? You got Walters. Everyone is made that like go to now. Then you got Thin Man, and then you got Maya's, and like. Thin Man is crazy. Like Mark Franks had insane stuff off that. You know, Bodie's hit it. Everyone's hit it, but it's like one of those cliffs where it's sketchy takeoff. You're like flying right next to the rock, super pinner landing, and you got to be there first. Right.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, then I'm like looking at the takeoff. I'm like, okay, I'm like kind of all stressed out, and he's just like sitting in the snow like a little kid, just like laughing. And I'm like, do you want me to like butter up this takeoff or pack it out? And he's all, I think it's good. And I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to film it. And then I'm like, well, I'm going to go around and then I'll film it with my iPhone. And he's like, sick. And I get down there and he's like, okay, drop in. And I'm thinking like, all right, like he's just going to jump this cliff. It's going to be insane. And then right last second, boom, backflip, like just laid out, insane, perfect, snipes the little landing, like because it funnels out of a chute. Tiny little tranny fine. I couldn't even hold it in. I'm just like freaking out. I'm just like, holy holy shit, like whatever. Like it was probably hands down, I want to say, like one of the craziest things I've ever filmed, like ever. And it was with my phone, like whatever, you know, and then definitely the gnarliest thing I've seen at Brighton. So
dude, thank you. Yeah, that was super fun. And the reason why I was so chill, because I was just trying to keep it cool, because Seth Hughes was showing me around Brighton. I was just, you know, I was definitely like, you know.
You were so chill. And I was just like, I went away. I think like that was it for the day. And I was just like, that was mind blowing.
Dude, thank you. Yeah. That was still like one of the most fun things that I've done in the past couple of years. Just because it was like one of those crazy deep days. It just feels like you didn't even leave the ground. So yeah, that one was super fun.
That was like a squirrel suit, Backy.
Dude, yeah. I've actually, dude, I've been dreaming like that recently. Seriously, like 2 weeks ago, I've had like 2 in the last week where I like have a snowboard and a wingsuit on, and then I'm just like freaking flying with no parachute. Like I'll like hit a jump super fast and just like turn to wingsuit flying and then just like keep cruising. It's pretty bizarre, but it's really fun.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's a good dream. But yeah, thank you, Seth. Dude, that was so sick. That was an unforgettable moment. Yeah,
that was
very fun.
The last thing I thought you were gonna do was just lay out a backflip. So I was losing.
One thing I want to jump right into, we can get into later in the show, but just like real quick, everybody knows, or not everybody knows, maybe people are learning this for the first time. You love like hang gliding and jumping out of planes and jumping off of cliffs and doing all this stuff. Like, do you think that when you do all this madman flying through the air stuff, it helps snowboarding?
Yeah, I think it helps snowboarding. It helps me because it keeps me excited on snowboarding. Like it like switches it up, and like you're still in the air, you're still flying. Like, you know, they all feel quite similar in ways, you know. So that's my main motivation, is just to keep it like special and keep me excited.
And you're flexing that same muscle of like being on top of the cliff, being like, oh shit, I'm gonna fly off this thing. It's that same muscle of like, I'm jumping out of this plane.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah.
We do have a guest question from Cody Warble.
Oh, nice.
He says, backflip off a cliff or loop on the speed glider.
Damn, I'm gonna go backy off the cliff. It's too good. Yeah.
Cool.
That's a good one, though.
We got some other, we can tee that back up later in the show, but I want to go back to the early days, because I thought you were Colorado, but upon doing my research, you're actually a Detroit dog.
Yeah, I claim it because, you know, Detroit, that's where the whole family's from, but yeah, right outside Detroit. But I moved to Colorado when I was like 2 or 3 and raised there, but we go back every summer. My entire family, besides my mom and dad, are still in Michigan, so we go back quite a bit. I go back once a year to Ford Field, watch the Lions play, and
couldn't get it done this year. What's up with
I know, dude. That was
Campbell.
I know, and it was kind of the year because, you know, Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson, there was like, they stayed for the year too, and it was a whole thing. But yeah, I haven't lost, never lose hope, you know.
God, having Dan Campbell as your guys' coach, just, I'm a Lions fan.
Dude, we need to get him some spelling salts.
We got to get him.
Yeah.
I was trying to find one of those grit hats that he wears. You know, that hat that just says grit on it? I wanted to run one of those babies for the episode.
Dude, I should have worn mine. Yeah, my grandpa sent us all five in the family have one.
You got the grit hat?
For sure, yeah.
Oh, brother.
Yeah.
You got to get a clip in that thing.
For real, that would be sick.
Yeah,
the fitted grit hat.
Yeah.
It's pretty tough.
That's some OG Detroit action. So you moved to Colorado when you're 2, and you're from Edwards? Is that where you grew up?
Yeah, I grew up in Edwards. Freaking beautiful town. It's like classic, you know, like didn't realize how beautiful it was until I was 18 moving out. And, but yeah, it was, dude, great place to grow up.
I mean, being into all the mountain stuff, whether it's rock climbing or jumping off of cliffs into water or speed suiting or whatever the crazy shit you do, like, were you introduced to all that stuff at a young age?
Not really, honestly. I just kind of skateboarded and snowboarded until I was like 18 years old. And then my older brother showed me like climbing. He showed me, kind of just like being in the mountains and, you know, basically my older brother showed me all that adventurous stuff and kind of was like the intro to all that. So yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, your Miles was telling me that your dad's an electrician, and a quote from Miles, he said, BMO is goated with the wires.
Dude, I mean, I'm down to take any jobs anybody has around here, but I'm definitely not goated with the wires. Like any sort of job that I like get, like it's like, you know, just some like side work or whatever here for homies and family or whatever. But yeah, I'm always FaceTiming my brother out there, being like, dude, is this like allowed or what's going on? So yeah, but I'm definitely not goated with the wires. Miles is just not a handy person at all, so he doesn't really. he sees a tool belt and he's like, wow, that's impressive.
Well, I know that you also grew up. You're like come from a classically trained half pipe slope style background. Like you were a pipe dog,
dude. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it was awesome. It was super fun. I couldn't hang clearly, but it was sick. Yeah, until I was like 16. Actually, until I met Miles and Luke and Wendell's, I was like doing it pretty hard and trying. You know, like doing the rev tours. I was like 16. So, yeah, it was cool. I definitely like. You know, did nothing but help. And I still love a good old pipe. Even if it's like a little firm, I'm down to get some good speed.
All right, don't be humble. Best pipe run you ever put down, like big tricks. Just don't be humble. Just let us know.
Like at the tail end of that, my thing was like switch backside spins first hit. So it'd go like, my best run was probably like switch back 9, cab sev, front 9, back 5. Type, but it's like, you know, that's nothing though. But the switchback definitely felt good, and then
dude, just doing a switch backside air is psychotic.
Yeah, well, I couldn't do those very well. Yeah, switchback 5 was way easier than a switch straight air. So yeah,
cool. And, I was listening to Jody, your chat with Jody on Airtime, which is a great show, by the way. But big Danny Davis inspo coming up,
dude, for sure. Yeah. I remember he like had to go to a rev tour in Pennsylvania to get points for the Olympics. And like I knew, you know, he would have no idea this, but I like wore my Red Wings jersey for the contest just so he would like say what up, kind of. So yeah, but yeah, and then he smoked us all, of course. But yeah, I was definitely like super inspired by Danny because like, you know, he took the approach of like he wasn't doing the whole spin when he like just had such a creative approach to it, and like kind of gave me hope for those couple years. Like, oh, sick, like, you know, I could do some weird run and it would work, you know. So it was cool.
Yeah, that's got to translate to riding half pipe being the most difficult edge control there is on a snowboard. And then you get in the big mountains and it's got to help.
Dude, for sure, yeah. And I even think just like, you know, I feel like it kind of, you don't think about it, but when you're going into those hits, like you're hauling ass in the pipe, you know? So like feeling that speed of like, and then having to like snipe, I feel like that is like a huge thing that helps as well that you don't really think about that much.
And you have to be really disciplined with your timing where you have to wait to spin.
For sure, yeah.
All the half pipe dogs, they pop and then they wait and then they start spinning. Whereas like us boomer fundamentals, it's like double hand drag back 7. Like,
yeah, for sure. Use the hand to get you. Yeah. No, that is funny. Well, one thing that actually like Bud Keen told me that I still use to this day was, he's like, right when you think you're going to take off, wait and then take off. Like, so it's kind of like that like split second, you know, and it definitely, I'll do like, sometimes, you know, I'll be doing a frontside spin on a jump and like just scrubbing, come up short or something. And you're like, oh dude, like just one little, you know, wait a second. But yeah, a lot easier said than done.
Yeah, Bud Keen in your ear. Just
dude, yeah.
Wait.
Be patient, Blake. Yeah.
All right, we're going to talk about Arbor. I like what Arbor's got going on these days. They're doing big things. So Arbor has been making high-performance snowboards for nearly 30 years with a little thing called craftsmanship, and they do it with a conscience. These guys were on the sustainability tip long before it was cool, using real wood top sheets, eco-friendly materials, and giving a damn about the mountains and the planet. They're backed by one of the sickest teams out there. We're talking Jared Elston, a.k.a. Big Air Jer, Mary Francois, Red Gerard, who just won an X Games gold, Brian Iguchi, Danny Cass, and many others. Arbor Snowboarding is resetting the standard, blending high performance and sustainability with precision, power, and purpose. So whether you're straight lining like a psycho or going full dummy in the park, Arbor's got A-grade boards and bindings that you need to ride your best. So check out Arbor. They got a lot of cool stuff going on. Now, do you find yourself slowing down a little bit in your older age? Maybe getting off hill a little earlier? Well, you could be dehydrated. 75% of Americans are dehydrated. And that goes up when you're at elevation, when you're in the mountains. So I drink Bubs Hydrate or Die hydration packets. There's 2,000 milligrams of electrolytes. There's no added sugar. There's no artificial flavors. Let me tell you, when I'm hydrated, I ride better. I can ride longer. I have more energy. All in all, my vitality is just better. So if you're interested in picking up some Bubs Naturals Hydrate or Die, head on over to bubsnaturals.com and use promo code BOMBHOLE for 20% off your order. And stay hydrated, people, with Bubs Naturals Hydrate or Die. So let's talk about this Windell's Academy thing. So you went, it was where you, Goop, and Miles met, and that's where you spent your formative years, right?
I did my junior year of high school there, Yeah, it was so sick. Like, pulled up there. The first couple weeks, we all went to New Zealand and kind of got to hang and shred the whole time. And yeah, dude, they're my boys forever. That was so sick. That definitely like helped me, because at that point, you know, my coach, like half pipe coach, got the job at Windell's. That was kind of like, he was like, "Yo, just come." I was like, sick. And then as soon as I met them, rode like the least amount of pipe I had in like the last 5 years before that, and was just like shredding, you know, like hitting rails again, trying rails, whatever, just like riding with them. And it definitely like just kind of revamped my whole like excitement for boarding. So Alex said it was crazy to think, because like 16. So it was like, I mean, I think, I don't know. I definitely wasn't bred for the pipe thing, but it definitely helped me. And maybe in another universe, I do the pipe thing, or, you know, maybe I quit at 16 and am an electrician, which is still a possibility. I'm not going to quit, but I could still be an electrician. Yeah.
But also that tour of like doing pipe contest after pipe contest, and the weather doesn't matter. It's, you know, it might be a powder day, but you're riding half pipe. Like, that grind is tough.
For sure. Yeah. And it even got to the point where like it was a powder day and we'd be like slipping the pipe. Like, I'm like, this is weird. This doesn't feel right, you know? But shout out, Tommy Bennett was my coach, and dude, shout out to that guy. He like really taught me a lot and like fundamentals and stuff. Like he's the man.
Yeah.
I have another note here too, that your mom runs the Rocky Mountain Freeride series.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like the youngling Freeride thing. So yeah.
I don't know anything about this. Fill me in on this whole deal.
Yeah. So, you know, there's like the IFSA. It's like a way to qualify for the FWT, but the RMFS is like basically the equivalent to USASA. It's the same thing for USASA. So it's just like, you know, until you're like, I don't know, 16 or 17 or something, then you do the RMFS, and then you like go to the adults. It's like, then you like graduate to like the Grand Prix kind of thing would be like the equivalent. But yeah, so she just like, she runs the whole, I think it's only in like Colorado or something that she kind of like runs. But yeah, she works super hard and definitely cares a lot about it. So
is that kind of like a feeder to the Freeride World Tour?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
He used alliterations. He uses FWT, which was Freeride World Tour. Yeah, we're learning over here because we don't know much. So how did you go from? Did you compete in those when you were younger?
Dude, I did a couple. So it's actually pretty funny. I was learning how to do McTwists in the half pipe. And my family was like, "Hey, we're going to Taos," because my brothers they always did the IFSA, the RMFS stuff, like skiing. And so they're like, "Hey, we're going to Taos," which is a really sick mountain in New Mexico. And I was like, "No, I don't want to go. I'm learning my McTwist. Like, I need to dial this in." They're like, "Blake, like, we're a family. Like, you're going to come. Like, it's 2 days. Like, it's sunny 300 days a year in Colorado. Like, you're going to come back. The weather's going to be fine. You'll learn your McTwist." It's like, okay. And I was like, not having it. I was so bummed. I was like, "No, Mom, what the hell? Like, I really, like, whatever." They dragged me down there. And I was like, "Well, if I'm going, I'm going to do the contest. Like, I'm just going to do it, you know?" And it like went super well, won it. And I was like, that was so fun. Like, that was kind of like the moment of maybe like, I was like, damn, like, this is sick. And I get to like hang with my brothers more. And it was like, it was really sick. And then you asked like what kind of like made me do the tour, right? Yeah. So then we all went, my older brother was on the FWT for maybe 3 years or 2. Yeah, 3 years in total. And so we all went there to watch the finals in Verbier. And I saw the mountain and like saw like Victor and Xavier and like all them, you know, Gigi was there. And it was just like, damn, like this like sick riders I've seen forever. And like, they're like doing it and they're charging. And dude, looking at the mountain, it's called the Bec de Ross, so gnarly, like so crazy. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, okay, well, I kind of just want to give this a crack because it looks like, you know, this is where I want to go anyways. So yeah, that was kind of my segue into it. And then Griffin was a huge inspiration. My older brother, Griffin, he was a huge inspiration. And then he was just like, dude, let's just do it together. So yeah, I ended up taking the year. I went to college and Steamboat for a year. And then while I was doing that, I was qualifying for the tour. And yeah.
I want to hear more about this tour too, because when I watch it on TV or when I watch recaps on YouTube and stuff, like the conditions always look savage. Like they look like it's like crusty and there's not necessarily that much powder. And then there's a helicopter in the air,
dude, yeah,
filming you the whole time. Like they have, they have a bird in the air. It's insane.
It's bizarre, yeah. Yeah. It really is.
No drone. They're going OG bird.
I know.
OG bird.
I'm curious if they do the bird now or what goes on, but I'm sure they have some drone pilots now, but yeah, it was pretty funny. I mean, it wasn't funny. It was super fun, super rad experience. All those people are so sick and they all love to ski and snowboard like more than most, you know? So just like so cool. And yeah, dude, the conditions suck half the time and it's quite kind of a bummer, especially for, you know, I feel like skiers can kind of make that look better, maybe, you know, for edges, whatever, you can kind of haul ass and work your way through. So sometimes it's not like the best representation of the borders, unfortunately, which, you know, I mean, what can you, they're telling you to drop in and you're like, you know, so I'm dropping in. I'm not going to like bitch and be like, dude, not my day, man. Can't do it. The conditions are bad, like whatever. And then when it's good, I think it's on. Everybody gets super excited. So I think when I'd edited it for 2 years and I had one like goodish like snow day. So
Is there a weather window or is it just when it's on, it's on?
There's a weather window, but it's pretty soggy. It's like 6 days and sometimes it'll be like, you know, you fly in like, you're there for like a week. I think the weather window is like 5 days. You'll fly in there and a lot of times like the inspection day, which isn't supposed to be a competition day, is like the best day. So like, oh, yeah, come in, compete the next day and then you're out. So it's like, there is a weather window, but they have so many more events to get to and like, it's pretty nonstop, you know, like once you decide to do that all year, that's what you're doing all year.
I'm curious about the scoring too. I don't know if it's the terrain, but when I was watching some of the Freeride comps, it's like a lot of exposure, big faces. Where you look at Revelstoke for natural selection, it's all free. It's freestyle oriented, right? There's poppers everywhere. Do they score? Is it like you're free riding higher than you're freestyling there? Is it more geared towards that?
Well, they call like their judging criteria is just overall impression. But it's definitely like, you know, when I think like years ago, it was all like nobody wanted to see like a spin or a flip, you know, it was just kind of like fast, like, you know, old Xavier, like De La Rue, you know, like how in his like prime of that, like it was just like that's what they're looking for. And then newer people came on like myself and it was just kind of like, oh, I mean, you could like, it's asking for a spin, you know, it's like out of respect, I'd want to do one. And like, you know, yeah. So, yeah, I think that the judging is pretty cool. It's basically just like, you know, whoever, you know who wins when you watch someone ride down, you know, you're like, oh, wow, they just did the sickest thing. Like they're going to win. I think it gets more weird at like second, third, or fourth where they like actually have to like, oh, the line is technique. And it's like, technique? What are we talking about? I'm going toes to heels. Like I'm turning. I got, you know, like on ice. So it's like, how's my technique? You tell me. So yeah. But yeah, dude, so much respect. Like all those skiers, boarders, like that do that is like, it's really, really quite gnarly. And a lot of times they don't really have a say. They're just like, you're going. Like, okay, yep. So yeah, it's cool.
That's good to talk about because I think in our sphere, you know, we're just like so into tricks and stuff, you know, and it doesn't, you know, there's like, you know, it's not necessarily in our orbit that much. Why do you think the Freeride World Tour isn't as much in the nucleus of snowboarding's, like, you know, we got our horse blinders on and it's not necessarily in our peripheral? Yeah.
Well, I think I think it's hard to watch, you know, it's a long thing to have really crazy hours, especially for us here. And I think the conditions are a big part of it, you know, like if it like, when it's on and it looks good, like Revelstoke, you know, like, or natural selection, like all the years past, maybe there's that 1 year in Jackson that like the snow wasn't that good, but still like, you know, they had beautiful jumps, this and that. And they're grooming it. Well, they're not grooming, but you know what I'm saying? They're going in there, stepping out with verts. They're making it good. Like they're making it so it's a good show, where the whole point of the Freeride World Tour is like, you do not touch the mountain. The mountain is how it is, and you must ride it the way it is presented, you know?
In a French
so it's
accent.
Like, yes, and this is the guy, yeah. And so it's cool, you know? It's really cool the way that they, you know, they approach it. But I think from like a viewing standpoint, it can be tough to watch for sure. And I get it, you know? Like, you know.
Yeah, it's kind of built for the riding, like for the contest, whereas like maybe natural selection is like, let's make it look as sick as it's riding.
For sure, yeah.
You know, and like a show.
Totally, yeah.
And there's you know, the cast of characters that we grew up idolizing from videos are the ones, you know, a lot of video part rider, non-competition riders. But I heard a rumor that maybe not natural selection, Freeride World Tour might be an Olympic event in the future. Dude, is that true? Do you know anything about that?
I do now because I was talking to Travis about it. And it sounds like that it is, yeah.
Damn.
So that's crazy.
BMO.
And it'll be like
Team USA, brother.
Dude, pretty funny.
Bring back a gold.
Well, I don't know how they're gonna do it because I was talking to Travis about it, and I literally was like, dude, like you're telling me that if you're feeling good and you have to, because the way you get on the Freeride World Tour is like this whole process. It takes at least a minimum a year, and then you're on it. So you have to like dedicate at least 2 years just to get there, or at least a year to get there. So I was like, you're telling me if that's the only way they can pick a snowboard team, they're not going to pick Travis Rice to be like to represent USA if that's what he wants to do, you know? So I think I'm curious how they're going to do it, but they're definitely doing it. Like 2028 in the Alps in France, I think, and then, or sorry, whatever the next one, or not this one, but the next one, 2030 maybe, and then 2034 here in Salt Lake. So I think that they're, yeah, I heard from multiple people that they're doing it. So,
dude, you could see some cool names and some bibs for that if like the big air Jers and everybody else heads that way.
Well, I was even talking to Travis about it. I was like, dude, you're telling me Mark McMorris is already going to go. Why would he not do that as well? He has a chance to win 3 medals like that. It's like insane. So I think that, you know, a lot of it will probably be like that. The slope style people that also do that, you know, like Red as well. You know, if he wants to do slope, like it makes perfect sense. So yeah, I'm curious how that'll all go down. But yeah, it's pretty... Definitely haven't even like thought about it at all. It's just kind of crazy that I just hope that they do it justice, you know? Like I hope that it's not like in Beijing one year and they like have to blow snow and do it like a whole crazy way, you know? Like that would just be a bad look for it. So kind of like how like they did it in surfing, like Tahiti, like that was a pretty sick inaugural thing I thought for, you know, unfortunately, like even though they like destroyed the reef or like there was a bunch of shit that was not good because it's just whatever fists. But yeah, I thought it was like a pretty insane show. They like even spent extra money to get him out to like, they could have done it in Osaka or whatever, you know, France has beautiful surf as well, but they wanted to make it sick. So that was kind of what I was wondering. Like if they have it in Utah, like sure, they could do it on Baldy at Snowbird or whatever, you know, but what if they did it in Alaska? It's like a part of America, you know, like what, so like, I don't know, like it could be like a cool thing for, yeah, I mean, it's not, you're not going to fight it. It's happening. So it might as well like whatever, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I always just think it's cool when Olympic athlete people I think it's cool when our friends get gold medals. Actually, you know,
like for sure.
Like you're on Conan talking about your, you know, like your back 7 or whatever. Yeah, that's cool. I'm curious too. When you won, you're the world champ at 19 in Chamonix. You won the Freeride World Tour, the whole thing. Did your life change? Did you get more opportunities? Did that put you on the map?
Dude, like, yeah, you know, I'd say it was like definitely didn't hurt. But it was funny, like after I won, the first sponsor I got was 686 and called Sarge or like talked to Sarge and Brent. And they're like, yeah, so we don't really give a fuck about contests. We just kind of like, I was like, all right, cool. Yeah, me either, man. Yeah, it's still cool. Yeah. So it was super cool, but they definitely weren't like signing me to be like, you're going to be our Freeride World Tour guy. You know, it was like, I knew I was done that year too, and it was just kind of like, you know, ready to pivot. So, but yeah, that was definitely got hooked up by 686 and like other offer, whatever, you know, but stayed with the 2 that I got.
Yeah, you're pretty categoried up with Solomon. They make goggles, boots, board bindings, and then 686 all of your outerwear fitted, and gloves, and you're kind of dialed. But going back to Sarge. I know he's got that place in Glacier. Have you had some good times up there with Pat?
The cabin is the best. Yeah, I always look for it. We always do a December like product shoot there. So we always can count on that. And then dude, Baker's the sickest place in my opinion. And just having the access to that cabin is so cool. And he like took it off Airbnb. He doesn't Airbnb it anymore. So it's kind of more like if his parents aren't there, then 686 will just like rent it out. So
like Sarge's boot camp.
Yeah, Sarge's boot camp. Yeah, exactly. It's so fun though. Like cabin gets a little loose for sure, but it's super fun.
Yeah, he's got some good energy when you go riding with Sarge.
Oh my gosh.
He hits the old he at the top.
Yeah. You could do like a shitty melon that was like not tweaked or like bad. He's like, that was so sick, dude. Like it wasn't, but thanks, man.
He's got your back, brother.
Dude.
And he's had your back since before the natural selection wave where we all are like, we all have your back. You know, everybody's team Blake now, but it's cool to see he's had your back since for a while now.
Dude, he is a real one. Yeah, him and I get along super well. He's the man. Yeah, he's sick. And then also Brent over at 686 is also really sick. Yeah, they're doing some really cool things. So excited to be involved.
Let's give Brent an air horn.
Yeah,
absolutely.
For sure. And Mike West, of course. Like they nail it. So
privately owned outerwear brand, which is major in this day and age. And you guys spent this past winter filming for a project. How did that go?
Yep. It was a little tough, honestly. Like we did a couple of trips last year. This year, you know, like kind of I was gone more than anticipated. Just like doing stuff, whatever. And then Mason as well. Like it was supposed to be like Mason, Keegan, Dara, and I was like the main. And then when we were in Whistler, like Matt Belzy was going to come and film as well. But dude, it was so sick. Like the fact that we even get the opportunity to like work with the budget that they gave us. And like, dude, yeah, it was super cool. And I hope to just like continue to be able to film for, you know, things that mean a lot to me, like brands that are supportive like that. So yeah, it was fun. It was super cool. We got some stuff. I'm not sure how they're gonna come out with it yet, but it'll be out there.
And you guys went up in Whistler and had some good days up there?
It was kind of mainly Whistler, yeah. Yeah, we did Tahoe and McCall last year. We did like a week in Tahoe and then a week in McCall last year, and then mainly all Canada this year, yeah.
So was that your first time sledding up there in Whistler?
Yeah.
What'd you think?
It's cool. I thought it was amazing. It was like, kind of just working more north towards like the mountains that you want to be in, you know? Or for me, at least, it was like a lot of love for this place too. Obviously, this place is like base camp home. But it was, dude, sledding up there. It's funny because like the year before that, we were like, Logan was like or McCall was like the furthest we'd go to sled. And we're like, oh yeah, dude, like feeling really good on the machine. And then you go up to Whistler and it's just like completely different riding, you know? So it's,
you're 50K really cool. Out and you're just like,
I also think
I hope this thing doesn't blow up
or run out of gas. Yeah, I'm like, oh shit.
You start in Colorado where the landings are like banks.
Yeah.
You go in Utah, they're a little bit more bank, a little bit less of a bank, steeper. And then as you get, McCall's a little steeper. Then you get out to Whistler and it's like, holy shit, these are touchdowns.
Yeah.
Steep. Everything's big.
It all works.
Snow sticks to the side of the mountain. It doesn't want to come tumbling down on you.
Dude, totally. Yeah, it was cool though. It was, I think we all learned a lot this winter though, from like, you know, operating as a crew and dealing with, you know, just weather. Like here we get pretty lucky. Like this, it's always snowing. You get the sun will pop. If it says it's cloudy, it'll probably pop, you know? So it's like, we're there, you're like, you know, you'll chill for like a week straight and then you're starting to go a little crazy. You're like, dude, I need to go ride something. You go to Seymour and it's just like either really soft or like iced up. And you're like, still sick, but yeah. So yeah.
Cause like when you're in Whistler and especially a little bit later in the year, like if the alpine's socked in, you're not doing anything. And then usually in the trees, it's like slushy or icy or just crappy snow. So you're literally not riding. And it's just like, here you can always figure something out.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, you go in the trees, whatever, you know. But yeah.
Totally.
It was a cool learning. Yeah, we learned a lot. So, and then we'll just be able to take that forward. So yeah, it was cool though. I'm excited. Definitely there's some cool stuff in there from the other riders. So I'm excited.
Love it. We got a guest question from your boy Miles. Here we go.
Oh, nice.
Yo, BMO, it's your boy Miles. Just wanted to call and ask you why you think Polaris's are more superior than any other snow machine. Let them know. Love you, buddy. Bye.
Sick. Love you too, Miles. Sounded like he was on the shitter there. You hear the fan going on in the background?
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, let's just do it, Chris. Come on, I know you like Skidoo. That's fine. I should have worn my Polaris hat actually today, just to shit on them. But no, since I was 14, snowmobiles have been in the whole fam. So my dad, he bought one Skidoo when I was like 16, and then we kind of just whatever. So he's always been Team Polaris, which, you know, clearly I am too. And I really actually do like, you know, for sure. My Polaris broke down one time, had to rent a Skidoo. Tried it. This was years ago too. This is like 2018.
Okay, all right.
Tried it, and
Loved
it wasn't it for me. You know, remember like when Magna Traction first came out, and it was like, this is so sick. Like that was the new wave, and everybody kind of like camber kind of got pushed over here. That's like where Polaris is currently right now. I think like Polaris is that camber trusty, like you want to side hill, you want to look where you're gonna go, and you're just gonna get there. Everybody's all hyped on the Magna Traction right now, Skidoo wave, but dude, it's coming around. People are going to switch over.
Yeah,
and I just want to say we've been on it. The Moller family's been on it since at least 2012. So
unfortunate. Yeah, it's unfortunate. You know, we all make mistakes in life, and it's okay.
Yeah,
you know? Obviously, Dude's superior machine, but I appreciate your enthusiasm for the brand that you're on.
I'm going to, till I die. Unless, you know, Skidoo wants to send me a sled out. But yeah,
we bleed dew over here at the bomb hole. We fucking bleed dew. But yeah, you know, really, it's the machine that you're on. Whatever one that it doesn't matter. You're on Arctic Cat. It's the best sled since sliced bread. You know, that's just the name of the game.
The cat. Oh God, yeah.
I haven't seen a lot of cats out there.
I've seen 0 cats.
Yeah.
Me too. But
They're fighting for their life over at Arctic Cat right now.
I'm surprised Curtis isn't on Arctic Cat because he's kind of done them all. Polaris, Skidoo,
remember the Yamaha,
Shamu.
You want to be a nonconformist? You pull up with a supercharged Yamaha, and then you bury it, and it's like a couch sofa that weighs 1,000 pounds stuck in a trench.
Those are good times.
Yeah,
those are good times.
Yeah, it's always good. The old Skidoo Polaris battle's healthy
for sure. Yeah, it's pretty fun, honestly. I definitely do love the old Pooh Bear though. Definitely gets me where I want to go. And I got the boost this year too. Woo. So pretty fun, yeah.
Yeah, I seen Jay Stone rides one of those.
Yeah.
Who I sled with, and that thing's just constantly buried when I'm with him. Pretty
Is
much
that true, huh?
Yeah, pretty much everywhere. Yeah, he's always kind of trenched out, so.
But yeah, he's a big Polaris guy, huh?
Yeah, he's big.
Stone,
yeah. Yeah, he's got just about every aftermarket thing you can bolt on that fucking thing. It's like, you know, when I go to buy a sled, I look for all the braces and, you know, aftermarket vents and everything that you can put on it. I'm like, I'm definitely not buying this sled. You know, you know, it's rammed a few trees. But we'll move on for the listeners that don't give a shit about snowmobiling.
Totally.
All right, we're going to talk about Herschel outdoor equipment. You may have seen them. We give them to all of our guests that win Name That Video part. Pack them full of bomb hole merch. They are sleek, and they're introducing a brand new performance line for travel and the outdoors. They got Alpine inspired and designed with multifunctionality for the first chair or last minute flight. I personally use all Herschel gear when I travel. I use the roller bag. I use the big roller bag. They got great backpacks. And the one thing I like, you can take your backpack and slide it over your roller bag, and you can be a true pro traveler. All their stuff's really well made, and they're building a team. They got Arthur Longo and the Dust Box on board already. So if you're interested in getting some sleek new travel gear, check out Herschel.com. Okay, people, we're talking about Sunny G's sunglasses. We're talking about the Smith Optics Hookset Sunny G. And this is my daily driver. I had to go get this thing from my center console of my truck. It was smudged, and they're still holding up strong. They're polarized, not Polaroized. Don't get it confused. And it's just a good pair of sunglasses. When you look good, you feel good, and life is just good. So if you want to look good and feel good, get the Smith Hookset sunglass, and you can do that at smithoptics.com. And we got a special offer for you guys. If you use promo code BOMBHOLE15, it'll take 15% off your first order. Again, BOMBHOLE15 at smithoptics.com. Save yourself some dough. All right, people, Bomb Hole is going to summer camp, and we want to bring you with us. It's going to be a good time. Summer camp isn't just for the kids. New this summer, Woodward Copper is offering summer camp for adults. There's 2 weeks. one over Memorial Day weekend and one in August. Ours is 8:10 to 8:15, so come on through. It's going to be a good time. Come progress on real snow. Whether you're new to park riding or intermediate/advanced, we have all the features and coaches to get you to the next level. Adult Week is for ages 18 plus and includes on-snow access, coaching, lunch, video review sessions, and more. We're talking barn sessions. It's going to be a good time chucking into the airbag. And you can learn more at coppercolorado.com. So use promo code BOMBHOLE, all lowercase. That's promo code BOMBHOLE, one word, all lowercase, for $150 off your Adult Week session. And pleasant surprise, Silk has joined us in the studio. Silk, welcome.
Hello, Silk. Wow.
So happy that you're here.
Thank you. Don't mean to steal the show from you.
It wasn't the same
happy
without
to be
you.
here.
It wasn't the same without you, Silk.
I'm sure it wasn't.
Now all is right in the Bombhole studio.
Back to balance.
We have gone a while without hitting a salt. It's probably time.
Oh boy.
Seth, let me get one.
BMO, you got an energy drink deal yet, or what's going on?
No, I don't.
Maybe he could be a good run through a wall athlete, potentially.
Only done it once.
Yeah, you just pinch the middle of it. Just right in the middle. Just give it a little pinch.
Seth, let me see that when you're done.
Okay.
Great for the allergies.
Yeah, I was gonna say it really
great for the allergies.
It really clears you up. Yeah.
That's actually a good point. I gotta start smacking more of these.
How many you hit? Like with one, you do like 4 or 5 sniffs, or
it's up to you.
Keep it going.
No, like
going.
I got my own thing, but what do you do? I'm saying it seems like you built up a little bit of a tolerance at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I just get in there, whatever I need. If I'm trying to get fired up, I'll go in deep. This is just a nice little. We're an hour into the show. Let's.
You're about to hit another right now.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So.
It's not analyzed. You just go by feel.
For sure. Yeah.
I like when it
all
just
good.
kicks you and you don't expect it. And you're just like, whoa.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we're back. We got Silk here. We got some salts going.
Nice.
We were just talking about Miles. He brought up the Polaris question.
Yeah.
You guys both share a love for Marvel. I don't know if it's Spider-Man, basically.
Dude, it's Marvel. We all kind of hit. Yeah. It's Marvel for sure. Like we all met when they were 15 or Luke, I'm going to include Luke in this. They were 15, I was 16, and the whole Avengers movement was happening pretty hard, and we were definitely in line for the movie theaters for all of that stuff. And then, now I don't really watch the new stuff. I'm down though. I'll eventually probably get around to it. But yeah, we definitely love Marvel, love superheroes, love the whole, science fiction world or whatever. But yeah.
It gets you fired up. I know Miles came on and was talking about instead of watching snowboard videos, he watches Spider-Man to get amped up to ride.
Dude, for sure. Yeah. Even like, you watch Obi-Wan and Anakin battle, and you're like, dude, that's going to fire anybody up. So, yeah, I loved when he said that because it is so true. You wake up in the morning, like I lived with him for like 4 years, and wake up in the morning, it's like 7 a.m. He's got his iPad and like Spider-Man's on repeat, and we're just about to go up to Brighton. It's pretty funny. He definitely watches Spider-Man more than maybe anybody ever. Like, it's insane. He's got them all downloaded, like all 8 of them, or however many there are. So, pretty funny.
Yeah, Jason Brown he kind of like kicked off the whole Star Wars like movement. I don't know, like he just brought a lot of light to it in snowboarding back in the day. And I remember getting like re-sparked on those movies. Like when it was kind of popular, it's like, whoa, and he's riding around Brighton with a lightsaber that he made off his belt. That's so awesome. Wild. Yeah, it's so sick.
You know what works pretty good to get fired up too? Nils was mentioning, like he talked about before natural selection, he's like, what would Sage be watching? And he put on Fury, which, like movies like that, like war movies that get you jacked up. I'm sure Gladiator, William Wallace, what is that? Braveheart. I'm sure Braveheart would get you going pretty good.
For sure, yeah.
Sage, when he hit Chad's back in the day, I think he was on a Scarface tip, I believe. Which I think also awesome. could work. So it's really whatever gets you there.
Yeah, whatever makes you want to charge, I think, Fury, that is funny. Nils was on his Fury shit, though. Like, all last year, too. He's like, well, I did it last year, so I'm probably going to do it again this year. It worked out, so.
I have a chart going, and I noticed that my peak performance was higher after watching Fury. The data shows on my watch that Fury provides a good performance.
Was that the tank movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
That's a crazy one.
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah.
Well, we're talking about video part inspo. It could be time for, Silk? Do you know?
I think it might be time for Name That Video Part.
Yeah.
All right, you a student of the game, Blake?
To be honest, like growing up, no. As of the last like 5 years, like I've definitely been trying to watch like as much. And who I hang out with, like Brendan Huppel, the guy I've been filming with for the past few years, like he knows everything. So he's been showing me a lot. And like, yeah, I wouldn't say I love the game and I like, am down. I've seen a lot of things throughout the years, but never like was like, wow, like religiously like had this one thing on tape or whatever, But definitely really inspired by all the old stuff to this day. But yeah, so basically I think what you're getting at is I'm really terrified. I don't know how this is going to go.
Confidence level 0 through 10.
Let's just go 10 because then if I blow it, it's even funnier.
Wow. I love that. Confident human being. Here we go.
I mean, it's Travis in pop.
There it is. Congratulations. Mm-hmm. Miles said basically that was his recommendation. So
nice.
Your boy Miles.
That's good. He hooked me up.
Yeah.
And Modest Mouse is really fire. So thank you, Herschel.
Yeah. So you got a bomb hole prize pack. That's a thanks for coming on the show / winning Name That Video part. You earned that. You earned that, brother.
Sweet. Yeah.
Part 2. This is for the listeners, not for you, Blake. If you know the song, comment on the photo on our Instagram of Blake, and that's where we pick our winner. And all you get is a sticker that says, "I won Name That Video part," and all I got was this stupid sticker. A lot at stake here. Good luck. Okay, thank you guys for playing.
Do you know that, Seth?
Name That Video part.
No.
Dude, you give it like 2 seconds. I'm sure they're all really good, but
that was 4
brutal.
seconds. But the thing is that some of these songs get flagged by YouTube.
Oh, yeah, true.
And it absolutely demolishes our views because then it's like a copyright infringement. So we try to dodge the copyright infringement. We still get a lot of them. But we think it's worth doing it, even though we can't.
I found I'm horrible at this game.
Are you?
Yeah. I mean,
it's hard. I mean,
I have like a little sliver of era, and then other than that,
the funny thing about that one, Seth, is you're actually in that one.
That's awesome.
Okay, thank you guys for playing. Name That Video part.
I got a hot one here from Cody Warble, another one.
Nice.
Because you guys grew up together, right?
Yeah.
It's a good question. He said, ask him who forced him not to push Mongo on a skateboard.
Eric Warble. And yes. He goes,
dad.
And his dad. Pretty funny, not even thinking about it. I had to have been like 6 or 7, I don't know, super young and just skating. He goes, Blake, you're not going to do that, man. I was like, what? He's like, you push with the other foot. You're doing it backwards. Like, okay. And then, but it was like, good advice. When I see somebody doing that, I'm like, hey, like you could try to push the other way, maybe. But yeah, it's pretty funny. That's funny that he shouted that out. Yeah, because totally. It'd be pretty funny though if I just kind of stuck with the Mongo lifestyle because I don't skateboard really that much. Damn, it's kind of a bummer. I used to a lot, but yeah, not so much anymore. But
now when you're wingsuiting out of airplanes and shit, what's a kickflip's not going to do that much for you when you're used to that kind of launching.
Yeah.
I want to go talk about that because Eric Warble, legendary Oakley rep in Colorado. I remember Cody coming around with us when he was just a little grom, like
really?
When we were on Monster. Jordan used to bring him around. But I feel like there was always kind of legends coming in and out of the door over there.
Dude, yeah, for sure. I mentioned this with Jody. Like, I remember walking in there multiple times and like Nico was there. I remember like Travis would be there and I'm just like, this is nuts, And then he also had like his office was like right at the basement, right where you walked in their house, and he always had like the new stuff, the new Oakley stuff, and it was like kind of funny, because then I would like pull up to the team, like have like some fresh goggles, be like, because they probably weren't, whatever, he was, super kind with it also. Pretty funny though.
Yeah, that's good stuff. We got a Patreon question from Willie Stroker. Thanks to our Patreon members. Best memories from living in Steamboat.
Damn, best memories is riding. I think it's called like Shoot 1. There's like Shoot 1 and Shoot 2, but Shoot 1 we'd always like book it up there on a POW day and go straight. It's like the steepest. It's pretty flat mountain, so it's like the steepest one little like nose of a cliff, and you'd book it there. And that was definitely my best memory. Was was going and riding that on every single POW day. But dude, Steamboat is like, I really love Steamboat. It's a cool little town. Fucking sick.
Did you live there for a while?
Well, so I did a year of college there, like super half-ass college. Like my dad went heli skiing in Alaska the year before, and like they didn't know what the snowboard, whatever. They didn't like know what was going on. They're like, dude, you kind of got to do something. Like you're not just gonna, whatever. So went to college, and his tail guide went to Steamboat Colorado Mountain College and did this professional ski and snowboard guide certificate. So I was like, oh, dude, that sounds like super sick. It's right up my alley. Like I'm super down. And it was really cool. Like your like whatever finals every semester was, you'd like guide the guide in the mountains. So you like go on a 2-day hut trip, and you'd have to guide him around for like 4 hours on this new route and like show. It was really cool though. It was really sick. I got like your Avi 1, Avi 2, Woofer. It was like you all got it for credit. So it was super cool. Yeah. And that was the year I was like qualifying for the tour. And so I was kind of bouncing around a little bit and didn't even get the year certificate. Like, so, and then they canned the course the next year. I was like, I needed one more class and they canceled the course. So I'll never have the certificate. It was pretty funny though.
But it's kind of a culmination of where you are today. You got these half pipe fundamentals, you know how to spin late and hold an edge, and then you go do this backcountry training thing, and then you do Freeride World Tour, and then you get a second in natural selection. But it's like kind of your all of your efforts.
Yeah. No, I like to think it's like a part of my. It makes my bag of tricks a little deeper. Like, oh, I like kind of half-ass maybe did a certificate of like guiding. So yeah, it was super fun though. I really enjoyed that course, and I wish that they still did it because it's a really cool thing for people that don't love school but want to be in the mountains or whatever. It's cool.
Yeah, and how to get somebody out of the mountains if they're dinged up, and make safe choices.
For sure, yeah, definitely always trying to learn more of that. So.
All right, we're going to run through a couple other Patreon questions.
Nice.
This one's from Dojo Yodo. What's your favorite all-around board to ride? Just demoed the Solomon Fastlane, in parentheses, the new Super 8, and I'm stoked. Also, what's the key to committing backflips off of cliffs? 2 good questions right there.
So first one was the board. A great all-mountain board is the High Path right behind me. Great board. It's getting better and better. And that's like, this is Nils' baby now. So he moved to France to make this thing insane. And I tried the new one in Revelstoke that he's got. And it's like got like the old classic, just like, your classic shape. Volley had a board 4 years ago. And like, I don't know details enough, but like the side cut was perfect. The stiffness was great. And it like looked great looking down at it. So that's where this is going to be. I guess not next year, but 2 years, like they'll sell it. And it was a really sick board. So High Path for the all mountain board for sure. And then the second question.
Backflip off of cliffs.
Be patient. Don't hit your head on the lip, man. You got to be super patient and lay it out because it feels the best when you do.
I want to go back to this board question because I'm curious, with Nils as the new designer of, engineering these boards and testing them and all that, are you working with Nils and is he sending you samples? Are you giving him feedback pretty regularly?
Yeah, we talk a decent amount about it. He, sends prototypes and whatever. And then it's nice because he talks to me in like a language that I can, I'll just tell him what I feel and then he understands it. Where like I was working with like trying to work with like the people in France more and they like, or not France, like, actually not France, like Volley. And Volley, it kind of gets technical with it. And then the language barrier, whatever, it's kind of harder. Where Nils knows exactly like what I mean and he can kind of translate it even better. But dude, yeah, I think that it's a really cool thing that he's making some of the boards, especially like because he's making all the free ride boards, so pretty cool. He's not, big part of the process now.
He's got some data. When Gigi came on the show, I remember he specifically said, we were talking about you at Natural Selection. He said that you need a stiffer board.
Yes. So that was actually sick. I was listening to that. That was really cool. Like Gigi, couple shout outs. That was sweet. Yeah. So the Fastlane is that board. Now I found that's the one I just took to Alaska. And it's really sick. That thing is like, you like put it, like you say you land a little tail head, it just like puts you like right back down. And that, I've actually never been on anything that stiff before. And it was so badass. So really looking forward to riding stiffer, maybe.
So do you think you need
I
stiffer
think
board,
I kind
or
of.
do you think you're
well,
good
the
in
thing
the
was-
noodle phase?
The thing was, is like I rode the high path all year, and then Harrison brought me a Lewif, or no, they sent a Lewif to Revelstoke as like a backup, and then I rode it like 2 days before. I was like, God, I fucking loved it. It's like the sickest board. So I just got comfortable in that, and then riding the resort, you're just like, oh, dude, yeah, it's just like can't think too much about it, So I was just like going to ride another day. I was just like, that was going to be the board that I was going to ride. So maybe, I think that it had nothing to do with the board, me landing like backseat, even on like the front three. Like if I was maybe a little bit more like, I've rode that board and done things like that and landed it better. So I'm not saying it was like the board's fault,
What about the front three that you landed going Mach 500 in natural selection, where you came out the bottom of the thing? Was it a front three?
Or front five?
Front five.
Yeah,
front
yeah.
five. Yeah.
Yep.
That was fucked up, dude. I forgot
that
about
was
that
funny,
until
yeah.
you just said that.
Yeah, right to the, yeah.
You were going Mach Chulo into that, Larry.
Yeah, it was fun.
All right, let's talk about Solomon for a second, because you got Nils Design Boards, which highly qualified, full-blown nerd, very smart, knows what he's talking about. And then you got Harrison as your team manager up there. How's he doing as a team manager?
He's crushing it. I think he's just like kind of working his way up into like more responsibilities, I think.
Upper management?
Yeah, but no, he's the best, obviously. Like I listen to your guys' podcast, he's the best. His tone, the way he talks, it's so funny. But yeah, it's cool to be able to have him, like when Travis hit me up like right after Harrison was there, I was like, dude, this is happening. He's like, well, let me talk to Kevin. So it was like, yeah, it's really cool.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah,
I think that would be awesome for you to go with Travis.
Yeah. Well, when the goat calls, you kind of answer. So it was pretty fun. Yeah. Yeah, I love Harrison. He's so sick. So hyped that he's in that position now.
And then you got major news too. You just signed with Wasserman. Is Cersei your new agent?
She is, yeah.
Woo!
Which is, I don't know how, I'm super excited like that. Obviously, to be like handpicked like that is really, I feel honored. So yeah, I'm excited to see where that goes. And yeah, kind of, it's all new for me. So just kind of, figuring, that's what I'm talking, like I was saying, like I'll ask, like, Nils is like a great mentor with things like that. He's dealt with that for so long, it's just like talking to him. I talked to Travis about, and it's just like Sarge, and they're also like, no brainer, man, do it. That's what Sarge is like, obviously you're doing that, man. What do you mean? So yeah. But yeah, I'm super hyped. Cersei's super cool. And then Ethan, who works like with her, I've had some really cool chats with them. And yeah, I'm excited. Really stoked to see where that goes.
And I think the thing that's cool when you sign with an agent and you can just focus on the snowboarding and you can go backflip into Thin Man and do a natty back 7 in Alaska, and they can take care of, a lot of the other stuff like emails and all the other bullshit.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes though. And shout out Cersei. She definitely like kind of like felt like she like, sought me out right after that, and it was super cool. So I'm really excited and yeah. Pumped.
Yeah, and agents also, it's not, you already have these relationships with Solomon and 686, and those are strong, but they have all kinds of other opportunities, maybe there's an energy drink helmet, maybe there's a run through a wall helmet, maybe I'm on the phone with Cersei, we're negotiating getting you in the brick helmet.
For sure, yeah.
But there's all kinds of random one-off deals that come across these agents' desks that you're just able to, make more money, buy a house hopefully, and do get the things that you deserve because you got someone fighting for you.
Totally, yeah. No, it's cool. I'm super excited. So,
all right, we've been cruising. But we kind of skimmed over. We didn't talk about Camp Robbers. I feel like that was a cool experience. You guys made an incredible film. 1 year or 2 years? That was
1 year, yeah.
Yeah. And we have a guest question from Keegan Host for us here.
Nice.
It's a 5-parter.
Wow.
So a lot to unpack.
Take notes.
Okay. But then he also told me to maybe not ask the first 2, so we'll see what happens. Here we go.
Okay.
Yo, what's up, Bombhole? It's Keegan here. Got a few questions for the Moller. So, Moller, what is a swarming locust? Was it a house? Was it a group of homies? Or was it just a band? Blake, how the hell did we film Camp Robbers? From Dublin Hup around on one of the deepest Utah years to me launching my sled on top of your truck. to us having a couple incidents in the backcountry at Blood Lakes and Mineshaft Gap. I'd love to hear a little bit more about that. Why is family so important to you? And why are you the last one out of bed and the first one at the trailhead? Man, I'm so stoked to hear this bomb hole. And Blake is one of the most passionate, hardworking individuals I've ever met. And I'm so psyched to hear this one. I love you, brother. Have a good show. Peace.
Damn, sick. Thank you, Keegan. Love you too. That guy, he like continues to impress me every time he snowboards. It's like actually insane. And before the show, like, you know, doing a little bit of homework, seeing the hot tub, like he is like seriously one of the most impressive snowboarders that I've ever gotten to see. Like you give him a down rail, he'll do anything you want. You give him a jump, he'll do anything you want. Like you give him a line, like he's insane. It's pretty cool. So yeah, shout out Keegan. Thanks for the love. And first question.
Swarming locust.
Swarming locust was a lifestyle. It was a house that we all lived in, but it was like, it's truly the way that we would all go about it. And it's actually pretty funny. You guys know who Team 11 is? They're like this new young crew.
Yeah.
So they live in the locust, and I guess they call it the focus now, the fake locust, which isn't like, but it was literally, it's pretty cool. They're all like 19, 20, exactly how old we were when we moved here. And they're just doing, pretty funny. Like I saw a video of the kid yesterday putting on a helmet. And Soli is his name. He's a freaking ripper. And putting on a helmet, jumping just to the dumps, like jumping on top of trash cans, eating shit, just because, like, I don't know, they were all clearly having a good night. Probably kind of a bit of a banger on a Tuesday night, I guess. But it was pretty awesome though.
Dude,
so
I
locust.
love the revolving door of like Salt Lake. Like we've all been there. You move here, you're 18, you're just deleting beers. You're like, you're trying to make it as a snowboarder.
Yeah.
You're fucking partying. You're getting after it on the snowboard, and then you're in one of those houses, and it's just mayhem.
Dude, yeah, it gets so loose. And that house was gross. I'm so glad that when we were there, it was little gnarly, but pretty fun. Like definitely will remember that forever. Locust was a lifestyle.
The second one, which I'm really interested in, he talked about camp robbers, and particularly on the phone yesterday, he mentioned something about how you guys were in the Northwest, like doubling with a U-Haul, and like and Hup didn't have a sled and all kinds of cool stuff.
Yeah. Hup didn't have a machine. Keegan and I we like just got sleds because we knew we wanted to do this whole thing, and we rented a U-Haul. Sarge really hooked it up. He like gifted his sled deck to me, and his homie welded it. It was this whole thing. It was the heaviest fucking deck you'll ever see. And it was like, and you had to piece the ramp together. You know, it was like classic, like, you know, classic Sarge shit. It was like so good. And so we drive the U-Haul out there. We're there for the whole month of February. They had a good February, and we were kind of going up to Canyon Creek a little bit. Way up, I'd always double up, and then the way down, Keegan would get him. So it was pretty. It was a fair split, but it was
2 sleds, 3 people, crew,
and then you know,
Hup and Keegan.
Yep, it was cool. It was a really cool way to kind of like just figure it out on the fly. So
what was up with the U-Haul?
The U-Haul was that was our way. So we just put the U-Haul, or we rented the U-Haul here, drove it to Baker, put the sled deck that Sarge gave us, and then we put the sleds back on. So it's just like we rented a U-Haul one way, put them both in the fucking trailer, and then drove out there. It was pretty awesome. They barely fit.
Legendary.
Did you guys have anybody kind of showing you around in the zones, or is it just you guys just figuring it out?
Dude, yeah, we it was a little bit of both. Like Parker Duke actually showed us a lot of Logan and McCall. And then the more like we did it, the more we were like on Google Earth, and like Fat Maps was a thing then too. So it was like, and Keegan is like really, after he's on the hill, he's like on his computer, like fat mapping everything, no matter where we are. Like he's definitely like getting a good lay of the land. But a lot of it was just kind of like, you know, seeing stuff. Like, I mean, we pulled up to Logan and you go to the lake and we're like, oh my God, we can stay here for a month. Yeah. And then you like, you know, so it was like, it was pretty sick.
Then you go back and see all the footage. You're like, wow.
No, yeah.
Awesome.
Well, that's what was sick, because Hup would be like, dude, like, you know, this went down here, this, whatever. And I'm like, what? And then we watch it and it's like, I was thinking about doing a fucking front 3, and it's like already been, you know, like the stump jump that you hit, that like a bunch, or like far lookers left in the lake, you know, it was like, be a sick front 3. It's like, no, it'd be a sick, like, I don't know. Keegan was trying to switch back rodeo that, and it was really looking sick. But point is, you guys were doing insane stuff on all that before, and we were completely like we had no idea.
That's
So it's
cool though.
yeah.
I love that when, you know, you don't really know or you just show up to, you know, you hear about people showing up to new zones and discovering it for themselves. Because when we found all that stuff, it was like, that was the best zone ever. And, you know, for you guys to have that same experience, that's great.
For sure, yeah.
It's amazing, you know. Like that whole front zone, they call it the Nugget. Like, there's no better place. It's just like so many jumps.
Sled access.
Yeah, just boom.
It's already blown out anyway. Even if we talk about it on here, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
All right, and then the next one, he had a note about Incidents Blood Lake.
Yeah. It wasn't really an incident. It was just kind of like a little interesting meetup. But so it was Bjorn and Cole Taylor. We just hit Blood Lakes. It was like in Camp Arbors. I did like a front 7 off the wind lip or whatever, and like
Melon
did it
and
twice.
tail.
Yep. And so I was like, you know, hyped. I was like sick. Like that felt good. And as soon as I came down, hear some sleds roll up like Bjorn and Cole, and I was like, yo, Bjorn. Like I was like still kind of like on like a high too. So I was like, maybe like, you know, I was just super excited. Like, yo, what up, Bjorn? I'm Blake. Like, nice to meet you. He goes, cool, man. I was like, oh. And I was like, what are you guys doing? He's like, well, we came here to ride this. It's like, oh, well, you know, there's a bunch of other stuff, you know, as you know, just keep whatever. It's like, yeah, man, I've been here for 25 years. It's like, I've been riding this stuff for 25 years. It's like, cool, I just moved here. Like, this is still so sick, you know? And then it's like, well, hopefully I'll see you around. He's like, hopefully not, brother. And then started his sled and just bailed. And I was like, whoa, that was like kind of crazy. I was like, Bjorn Linus and whatever is cool. It was really funny looking back at it now, how like it wasn't a big deal, but it was just so funny because, you know, like, this legendary snowboarder who like still shreds to this day. It was just a funny, like he was clearly bummed that we hit Blood Lakes, which like, you know, fair enough, but sorry, man, you pulled up a little late. So no, it was cool. Yeah, it was pretty funny.
But you're young and impressionable, and he's the legend that you look up to. So that that interaction's going to have a much bigger impact than if like just another random person was there.
Totally, yeah. And yeah, dude, like no bad blood. It's just kind of fun to, you know, whatever.
I talked to Bjorn yesterday because I heard you talk about it on Jody's show, and I was like, and he's like, oh man, like, yeah, we went there to ride it, and I was just kind of bummed, and he did, you know, for him, but he's like, dude, nothing but the utmost respect. He's such a fan of yours, and like, you know, he said he watched the clips in Camp Robbers, and it was like all amped on him.
Sick,
and but you know, lesson learned. Like, just, you know,
for sure,
always have respect. Always, even if you're bummed when you pull up on somebody. And I think he's just like, oh fuck, like, you know, and he's not stoked about that at all.
No, and dude, that like I said, like absolute legend. I think that I was like, especially like right after it happened, like I'm a middle child. I love stirring shit up, you know, like that's just kind of how it goes. And as soon as it happened, I was kind of like, oh damn, that was weird. And then later that year, like Slush posted something like firing it up, and they posted the front 7. He was like, oh, that was you back there. Like, didn't know, like glad we were after the same thing. I was like, cool. I remember you were being really bummed at me. And like, just like replied in like Instagram, but like, that was me. Maybe, who knows, whatever. I was just like looking back, it was like not a big deal at all, but it was just a funny first impression. And yeah, I saw him yesterday at the gas station. It was all good. And you know, like it's inspiring what he's doing and how much he still fucking loves this shit. And it's so rad. Like, I hope to have that same passion and love at that age as well. And he's been doing it at such a high level for ages. So yeah.
Incredible. All right. In the 5-parter, we got a couple left. Importance of family. He has a note about.
Dude, family's everything. Yeah. Family first. It's like, my dad told me that once, and that's just forever. Like the thing, you know, family's always first. So, they're huge supporters. Dude, I'd absolutely be not even anywhere close to here without my family. So, love them all, and they all are like so down to do whatever. And like, you know, we always like kind of like, you know, maybe like an adventurous family, I guess. You know, we'd always like go, and like my mom was like obsessed with climbing 14ers. So like every summer we'd like go and knock off a couple of those, and like it was just a cool way to like, you don't really appreciate that until you're a little bit older too. So yeah, dude, family first.
Colorado vibes. We don't got teeners over here, dude.
No.
We don't even got any teeners, dude. You can only do that in Rado.
That is some Rado shit.
Yeah, we got tens, dude.
But they're steeper, and they seem bigger here. It's kind of funny.
Shout out to Rado and the teeners.
Oh, yeah.
And then the last part of the 5-part question from Keegan is, why are you the last one Out of bed, first one at the trailhead.
I love to sleep, and I don't need any time to get ready in the morning. I like barely eat breakfast. I'll have like a banana, little coffee on the way, and pack a lunch. I could do it in 10 minutes, wake up and be out the door in 10 minutes. And he's like, sometimes even fat mapping in the morning. He's taking his time, and Hup's kind of like that too. And then, so yeah, it's pretty funny. But I can kind of just get up and go. Once I'm up, I'm like ready to go. I don't need like a whole like drawn out process of like, getting up, it's just like, yeah, I'm up, let's go.
All right, we're going to take a quick intermission here to talk to you about our good friends over at Pub Beer, who just happen to be the official beer of questionable decision-making and cheap fun. That's right. You heard it here first. Whether you're just having a couple, maybe you're watching the game, Pub Beer's a great option. Cheap fun. Maybe you need 50. Did you just get dumped? Pub Beer's got you covered. Cheap fun every time. Pub Beer.
All right, the folks over at Yeti made another great product. We're talking about the Hopper M20 Soft Backpack Cooler. Now, this thing is a cooler that looks like a backpack. It's got shoulder straps, and you're hands-free with this bad Larry. You can go anywhere. And it's summer coming up, warm weather. You know what's nice on a warm day is an ice-cold beverage, maybe a sandwich. So you can load this thing up with all your drinks, all your food, chuck some ice in there, and then it's got a magnetic seal at the top so you can seal in all that cold air, load it up full of beers, and you are a golden god on any adventure. You're going kayaking, you're dialed. You're going skateboarding, you're dialed. You're going on a hike, you're dialed in. So check out the Hopper M20 Soft Backpack Cooler. The Hopper M20 is the cooler that goes where other coolers can't. Get dialed in. I'm curious. I want to go back to natural selection. Sorry.
Yeah, let's do it.
Sorry about that. I'm always curious when people, have these like major life performances. We want to know, like, what did they do? How did they get ready? How did they get mentally prepared? Like, what are you doing morning of the contest? Are you tripping? Are you calm? What's going through your head?
Well, it's pretty hard not to be calm when Harrison's right there. Like, you got it, man. You've been looking at this for a week. No, yeah, dude, I mean, we were looking at that venue for so long. It was like we got there on a Monday and the contest was like Friday, Saturday. So it's not like, you're like, I could do this. At least this is how I work. Once I see it, I know what I'm going to do. So it's like, it was pretty easy. So my thing was like, I can't like get in my head, kind of like, exactly like the story we were talking about earlier, like Thin Man, you look at it, you go up to the top and you do it. So like, I can't like sit there and be like, oh, like, interpret like all this stuff. I'm going to do a turn here. I'm going to put my, like, whatever. You're just like riding and where your takeoff is. Once you know your landmarks, you're just kind of like, well, can't look at it too much. Then you go have a couple beers with Bryn at the bar the night before and keep it pretty mellow,
Just keep it loose and light.
Yeah, you have to. That's how I work though, I think everyone's different. I think that's kind of why it's cool. But yeah, I definitely can't get like, I'm just kind of like that though. I don't know. Like even like filming, like as soon as I'm like, I'll like wait, I'm not going to sit there for like minutes strapped in. Like I'll like try to time it where the filmer's ready. And like as soon as I'm ready, like I just like want to go. So it was like kind of the same thing. It's like look at it, didn't look at it for 4 days until the contest, get there, chill with the fam, talk to Harrison, hang out. And then like you take the snow cut. Like, dude, yeah, you look at that thing for hours, and then they send you all this drone. Like it's almost like, it's not information overload, but it's like, you get everything you need and more. So
what about before the double backflip? Were you nervous to chuck the double flip on that?
No, Bummed I didn't grab on it, but I like, no, I wasn't nervous. It was pretty.
It would go.
Kind of. Well, actually, Ryan Walkendorf was at the top, and I was like, dude, think I could do it? And he's like, yeah, for sure you got it. So, and I don't know, we were already in the final. It's just like, whatever. Try it.
Yeah. I need some of that.
I know. Just the most chill, over analyzing. Just
brown paper bag and let me hyperventilate for a little before. Harrison cooked breakfast in the morning?
No, dude.
What?
No.
Well, he's normally on it with that. He's kind of blowing it.
Harrison would meet us for breakfast.
Oh, yeah. It was a hotel. So
yeah, the hotel. We would do that. And actually pretty funny. Nils would like this. I have this like weird thing with eggs. Like eggs and I don't get along. And Nils would order 3 fucking fried eggs like right next to, and it's like, the morning you're like a little nervous and you're like, I'm definitely not trying to eat. Like on a normal film day, I'm like having a little something, whatever. And like there, like coffee was more than enough. Didn't eat all day. he's powering through eggs and it's like right next to him. I'm like, dude, what is wrong with you? And he literally the morning of the qualifier has 3 eggs. Finals day, 4 eggs. Recovery day after the party, 5 eggs. I'm like, dude, what's going on? So now he just sends me photos of him mucking eggs at home. Like, dude, it's ridiculous.
Well, the data would show that's the way to do it with nose.
Yeah,
he's
for
got some
sure.
data tracking that.
Yeah.
He actually has a spreadsheet with the day before, during, and after. There's a chart that he
How many
has.
eggs he can eat.
How many eggs? That's his routine. Yep.
It maths.
Yeah, maths. Yeah, that's amazing. I love a good Harrison Gordon breakfast, though. God,
Dude, I haven't gotten to experience that yet. Maybe at Hood one day, but yeah, I don't. But not really. But honestly, the breakfast goat is Sarge.
Ooh,
He really throws it down.
Yep.
Whatever grease is laying around, it's going in there, and it's gonna be bomb. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good facilitator of good times.
For sure.
All right, as a person that is terrified of jumping out of airplanes, actually still jumped out of an airplane when we were in Europe earlier this year.
Dude, I saw that video.
Yeah, me, Rigo, Kevin Backstrom.
And Kevin and I opted out, and Kevin opted in. Kevin almost died. The first shoot didn't go, and it was terrifying.
A couple problems.
We thought that there was a body hitting the ground because we saw a parachute just like smack the ground in the middle of a field, and it was terrifying. But Kevin, he had like 50 seconds of free fall where he thought he was going to die. It was so. Anyway, I'll get to the question.
That's long.
It was somebody who not interested in that. Sell me on this skydiving, hang gliding stuff that you do.
Sell you on it?
Sell me on. So why do you do it? Like, what's the?
I mean, do you like to catch air?
Yes.
Then you'll like it. It's like, it's pretty damn fun. I mean, it doesn't really get any better than just like flying through the air and not really like, you're just so present, and you're just like, I don't know, something cool about it. I used to do more skydiving. It was actually cool. Victor Davier, I spent some time with him in France and Miles as well. And he showed us he paraglides, And as soon as he took us on our first little practice day, I was just looking up places here, where to learn, how to do whatever. And then Miles and I were like, dude, let's just go do a tandem and then do it. And then we did that. He left town and then I just stayed there for the next week and got my license. This is sick. And so yeah, it was cool. It just, it felt right. And then after the skydiving thing, my buddies that I met there, they all do this speed flying thing, which is way cheaper. And once you skydive enough, it's not the most fun part becomes being under the canopy. You're flying, it's, you only do so much in the air, right? You're kind of just limited. You're going to do some flips, whatever, And then once you pull the chute, it that's where the fun begins. So it's that, but on steroids, you're going way faster and you're flying them. You're proximity flying the mountain. So, and you hike up, it just feels better. I mean, if you have your license in your own rig, it's still $30 to get taken up to 13,000 feet and jump. So it's you do 5 of those in a day. You're fuck, still really fun. But then you go and speed fly and you hike up all these, Utah's an insane place for flying. It's world class. People, even Point of the Mountain, every single day you'll see people there and it's such a good spot to learn and figure it out. And even the most techie flyers come here to fly that area. So it's really cool. But yeah, point is, those guys that I met, they really showed me a good time and definitely taught me a lot and still learning a lot. I'm really not that good at it, but just having fun with it. And it's one of those things you can make it as terrifying or gnarly as you want. You could be dicey with it, or you could just go up for a cruiser and yo, I had a bad day. I want to go just have a couple, a rip, or whatever. Or you're dude, I'm feeling it. Let's go. And so yeah, either way, it's as mellow or gnarly as you want. But dude, I think you'd really like it, Chris.
I just think about equipment malfunction too much. I think
for skydiving.
Well, I guess for that, yeah. You're if this think about this thing with Kevin. The first shoot shits the bed. They're spinning through the air. The second shoot shits the bed. It's over.
Yeah.
My logic is if I don't go skydiving. Also, I have a wife and I have a child, and that changes things. And my wife told me, she's if we have a kid and you die, I will fucking kill you. So that's
sense,
always
yeah.
going through the back of my head where I'm like, I can't die skydiving. That's not
Yeah.
going to be good. Britt's going to be so mad at me, you know?
Yeah. Well, it's funny because like somebody said this stat, like, which is like kind of crazy. I don't know how true it is, but you have a higher chance of getting in a car crash on the way there than anything happening, really.
That's
so
what
it's
our
like,
guide told us too.
yeah. So it's like, dude, well, the sketchiest thing any of us do is drive. So it's really not that bad if you look at it like that.
Yeah, the data,
especially in Salt Lake.
Yeah.
Nils would have some data probably.
Yeah, we should be phoning a friend for this. You know, I have a
Yeah.
question about the speed shit,
Yeah.
whatever it's called, speed flying. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
What exactly is that compared
question.
to skydiving? Like, is it wingsuiting? Because there's people who aren't
Yeah,
going to be
yeah.
watching. So
No, yeah, for sure.
Let me get some adjectives.
Speed
there.
flying is so paragliding is like a big wing, right? And you start with your feet on the ground, you hike up to a takeoff point, and you basically are just flying. Paragliders fly to stay in the air as long as possible, and they're just like, you know, catching like wind, like lifts and stuff. Yeah, and like
because the sunlight, the warmth bakes the
Yep.
rocks and it creates lift.
Totally, yeah. So they're going after that, where like speed flying is the complete opposite. It's like basically early morning or late evening, you want no wind, and the point is to fly the mountain. So like you hike up to these same launch points that these paragliders are going to. They have like, the way they measure is like in like meters, so it's like the complete whatever, I don't know, the amount of like, I don't know, what am I looking for? Like the surface area of like, or whatever of the wing is like how they measure it. So like a paraglide is like 22 meters, and like these speed, like the one that I'm on is like 13 meters. But people fly ones that are like 6 is like this 5.9 is like the smallest they make. But like an average one would be like 11 or 13 meters, and those are like, they're like performance wings. You know, you're like meant to go fast. You're meant to like, and you see people like do those loops, you know, and it's not like it's crazy because like you'd think that like those loops are like flexy, and they're just like, oh, because they come at it like. The point is to stay close to the ground. So they're like doing that to like lose elevation and like get back into the line, you know? So it's like, it's this crazy thing. And then you like gaining all this speed, but it's the most fun ever.
So
like
you're trying to buzz the tower, basically. You're trying to buzz.
Yeah, you're
above
trying
the
to
ground.
like, your feet are trying to hit the branches, and you're trying to like, you know, you're not trying to hit the ground, obviously, but you're like trying to, you're flying.
Do you get
toes?
lift at all?
Steel toes?
You do. Well, that's the thing. Like, if you do it in the day, like the lift is where it gets sketched, because paragliders even have a reserve. The speed flyers, you don't. You're like, you know, if you're falling, like there's no. That's why
you're not that high off the ground. You can't
exactly.
save
Yeah,
yourself,
there's
right?
no. Yeah, so like,
Okay.
if you do go in the middle of the day and it's like hot, you know, that's like not good. Then it's going to be really bumpy and really sketchy, and your wing
You're
could
not selling me
collapse.
on this. I'll just let you know.
Well, the early morning is butter though. Early morning and evening.
You're just going too late in the day, Chris.
Yeah.
A little earlier.
But dude, it's fun, and it's also pretty crazy because it's quite a new thing. Like, there's no regulations on it, so anybody can do it.
Yeah.
Like paragliding, you need like, you know, a license or whatever. And speed flying, like, dude, it only started in like 2012 or something. Like, it's really quite new. So yeah, it's pretty cool. So anybody could do it, and literally anybody can do it. If you know how to run, you can take off. If you know how to like, you fly enough at the point of the mountain, like you get a feel for the wing, you know. So it's like, yeah, I think that it's really cool, and it's getting quite popular. A lot of people are doing it now.
Do you have your feet tucked in like the way paragliders do? They're kind of in the sleeping bag. Speed flying, you're just you're just feet dangling. Okay.
Dangling, but you're kind of like trying to like, you either like cross your legs, you're keeping them here, like you're trying to be aerodynamic. You're trying to just like cut through the wind and you're trying to go fast.
Yeah, because I was with Arthur like in Austria, and he brought up his wing and just like took off, and he was gone. He was like,
dude,
holy
yeah,
shit,
see him in a couple
crazy.
hours.
You know, he just then he like lands down in the valley at the soccer field.
Yeah.
And meet up with him later, whatever, and it's like,
So
wow,
cool.
that was
That was
wild.
sick.
He's
Yeah.
just like running and just gone.
Yeah, it's so cool. But yeah, the paragliding seems really fun too. Seems like a more like you can be chill.
Yeah.
So
Crazy.
So speed flying, you're going up looking for like steeper descents. Like you're kind of getting up high, jumping or however you're getting your lift, and then you're going down steep. You're not cruising.
like Superior, like we fly Superior a lot. Like you like just like fly, you know, and there's like little like not like cool like some people probably do like go into suicide and like get into that whole like we're like get really deep in them, but like, you know, Looker's right. It's like more mellow, but there's like little rocks you can fly through, whatever, you know, you're trying to like, trying to proximity fly, but it's so anything you like see, all those mountains, like you can fly them, especially in Little Cottonwood. Like land on the road. There's like I don't know. There's like some loophole there, I guess. You can kind of do.
You ever go off Olympus?
Land on the road, get run over by a semi.
I haven't done Olympus. My buddy did, and it's gnarly. You have like 6 feet to take off, and if it's fucked up a little bit, you're already committed to the, so it's like that's not. I kind of want like a nice smooth, That's what I'm saying. I'm not like pushing it at all. I'm just like kind of doing what feels good. Sometimes in there you're like, yeah, let's tuck it, let's go. But it's kind of like in the heat of the moment. But dude, I love that. Yeah, it's so fun, and it's like important for me to switch gears completely. Like I need that to stay hyped, and like I love all of our snowboard homies and like the whole industry here, whatever. But like I also need my time to go hang out with other people, meet new people, like do other things, because it just like keeps me excited. So
yeah, that's amazing. I think about that too, where that's the beauty of snowboarding in some ways, is that it is seasonal and we do get a break and get to do other things. Baby Huey over here is out there dangling twig. He's a hockey addict.
I'm just obsessed.
And then, we got other things, skating and moto or whatever. And then you come back to it and snowboarding is there for you, where you think about a pro skater, pro surfer, I don't know, that's what comes to mind. It's just like all skateboarding all the time.
Dude, totally, yeah. It seems like a lot, especially when I can't even do a kickflip. Okay.
Well, you don't push Mongo anymore, so.
True, yeah, I'm getting there.
That's major.
I'm getting there.
Incredible. Well, we've been moving quite along. I think we should get into hot takes. What do you think, Blake?
Nice, I'm down. Let's do it.
We're going to jump right in. Who is your GOAT to you or your MJ, both male and female?
Yeah, I think this is a good one, because when I think of MJ, I think of like, he was so sick with it. He was so stylish. And Nicholas Mueller's my MJ for sure, like that. He's just got it like that. Female, I was thinking about this. One that comes to mind is Hannah Beeman. She's like, she just charges. She's so sick. She doesn't care. And yeah, really like the way she approaches riding.
Good answer. Least favorite question I have on these hot takes is snowboarding an art form, a sport, or a lifestyle?
It's got to be. It's a lifestyle. I like it. Yeah, I was listening to Gigi's and he's like, dude, that's a new one. And I mean, yeah, that is what it is, We all do this thing that brings us all together and makes us exactly who we are. It's not like, can be an art form, can be a sport. Like if it's going to be in the Olympics, it's no doubt it's a sport, so it's just like, but it's a lifestyle and, yeah.
It's like swarming locusts, like you said earlier.
Dude, yeah, for sure, yeah.
It's a lifestyle.
That was a lifestyle of snowboarders trying to make it, so yeah.
Yep. Who's one of the most underrated snowboarders in your opinion?
In my opinion, it's, dude, like I said, Keegan, he impresses me over and over again. It's pretty insane.
Good answer. He actually won Bombhole Cup Park Showdown last year.
Oh, yeah.
He was right there for the overall. He was going to be a Bombhole Cup winner, but...
it's close, but no cigar.
Yeah. Next question, steel or powder?
Powder. I got folded on the steel hard this year.
In the streets or park?
Streets, man.
Oh, you were in the streets, brother. What?
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
Well, tell us about it.
Okay,
dude, yeah.
now we got something to talk about here.
Yeah. Revelstoke, we were there at the beginning of the year, January, kind of like a day off. Dara wanted to hit this rail. We pull up. It wasn't looking that good. It's like, I could fucking boardside this rail. It was a down, flat, down, long, flat. Down is like I don't know, it's been around. Hup knew all these videos that it was in. And yeah, so I grabbed my backup high path board.
Sharp edges?
Sharp edges,
yep.
18 posi 3, the whole thing, And I was like, dude, I can boardside this. And I came really close. I did, I thought I had it. And I probably tried it like 15, 20 times. Yeah. And came really close. And then the next one was like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna give her, commit. And on the flat, just toe edge catchers, just start flying forward. And rip over, break my board, fuck my knee up, was just out for 2.5 weeks. And then the next time I rode was the duel, right before the duel, before that. So I was so annoying though. I was like, dude, fucking respect to you guys, but I'm so good on doing this right now. It was awesome. It was a cool experience, but it actually sucked. What am I saying?
It's getting buckled on a kink rail, and you're like, why am I not riding powder right now?
Dude, yeah. And then Sarge calls how is it out there? You guys scoring? I'm like, no. Yeah, so powder.
It's good to know you got on the steel last year.
Yeah,
though.
we'll take
I love
it.
to see
Yeah.
that you're dabbling.
take it.
You know,
Dude, yeah.
That's good enough.
You got to try. You know, I'm definitely not opposed. But like, I was saying this to Jody, like, I'm not gonna fly to the Midwest. I'm sorry. Like, I'm not gonna go there
here's the
and like
question.
hit a street trip.
Here's the question: when you're riding the park, are you riding around the steel, or are you?
No, I'm hitting it.
That's it.
There we go.
The true purists that I really get disappointed in is when they start riding around the steel. They just like the rails in the park don't even exist. Like as long as you can always just still get a piece.
At least got a 50. You know?
Yeah.
For
Come
sure.
on.
Yeah.
Come on.
No, there's like, you know, I did a fair share of slopestyle stuff too growing up. So I got there's a little
Front two.
There's a little thing. Oh yeah, maybe little sketch. Yeah, Woody's. yeah. But I definitely don't have like a rail board or anything. You know, that's why high path, all mountain, baby, gets it done.
All mountain, not particularly great for street kink rails with long flats. But the posy doesn't help, and the razor sharp edges are not doing you any favors.
Hard to pinpoint one thing.
Yeah, a lot of things we could do differently to set you up for success in the future on a kink rail.
I'd like to
Get you a
try
soft
again.
board.
We'll help you out.
Mellow
Yeah.
edges, set you up like 6 -3. You know,
That would feel
could be
so
good.
crazy.
yeah, you're just squared up on that boardy, just looking like a statue going down that rail. You know. Wide stance, you know. Okay,
Yeah.
we'll keep it moving. I'm sorry. Next question: favorite style on a snowboard?
Nicholas Mueller. It's like, I feel he's gonna be a lot of my answers, but he's just the inspo.
Okay, favorite method.
Everybody knows he has a great method, so we'll switch it up. Dude, I said this. I like when I think of a fire method, I think of both Ben and Gabe. Like they like really put it out there, and I think they even go in between. Like they just kind of.
Okay, just to
They
like
can
make
hit.
it more fun, you got to pick one of those two because it's not a dual answer.
Ben.
Ben. Damn, that's salt in the wound for Gabe
No,
after beating him in
Gabe,
the
you know,
duel
it's
too.
all good.
That's tough for Gabe. It's a tough answer for Gabe. Tough day to be Gabe. Okay, we'll keep it moving. Favorite snowboard video ever made?
Dude, it's for me, I definitely watch it the most out of anything. It's Pop for me. I just like really think that they went absolutely ham-bony, and that was crazy. Like, dude, psycho.
Think about the first front 10 double into powder on pyramid too.
Psycho.
Like not some like classic roll jump, like straight
And then
savage.
That was his warm-up for Cab Sav, back road on Chad's, and then they even hit the crazy one, like in Valley of the Cornice, the whatever Flagstaff Gap, or I don't know. Yeah, Bodie was telling me
The
yesterday.
big one, though.
We used to call that bridge to Terabithia Bodie name. That I don't think that's the official name.
Where they have to fill in the goalie, you know,
Yeah.
or whatever. Yeah, but dude, like Ramon in that video, insane. Like his ender, like the double line he did, like the cab 9 to back 7 in Alaska, filmed from the heli. Like everything about that was fucking godly. It was so good. So.
Dude, when you're talking about having like that video particular, you got Travis formative years in the pocket, like becoming Travis.
So insane.
And then you got Nicholas and everybody else in there. It's just Roman. It's insane.
And Nicholas is like mini shred part at the end too. It's so sick.
That's a good video.
Yeah.
Favorite board graphic ever?
Damn, the one that comes. I always like. Well, I don't know any of the old shit, but like the first thing that I always thought was so sick was the old villain. Like I really liked that. I don't know, it was just like it worked for me.
David Banks made those graphics back in the day. He's really good. Okay, if you go heliboarding 3 people, anyone in the world, who you got? Just good times, you know.
Yeah.
Hypothetical.
Okay, I'm going my dad and my 2 brothers. And to piggyback on that, crazy shout out that Gigi put my name out there for his little heli. So secondary would be like, for real, it would be Travis, Gigi, John Jay. Like if you could go with those 3 would be so messed up.
That's pretty fucking
fucked
elite.
up.
That would be crazy.
Who's filming?
I'm getting Hup in an uncomfortable. I'm getting him in an uncomfortable position with the door open with the Bull X.
Straps
Oh
to the
yeah,
bird.
doors off.
Mm-hmm.
He's dangling out of there.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
He's getting motion sickness thrown up out of the side of the helicopter. That actually happened with Sean McCormick filming
Really? Oh,
Nike video back in the day in the city in Spokane. But anyway, I digress. We'll keep it moving. Next question. Dream sponsor. Anything in the world, doesn't have to be snowboard related.
Dude, my dream sponsor is Milwaukee. I it's kind of a little double, like tools, expensive, nice. Everything's battery powered too now. Super sick. Then they also do the pack out that you can put on the machine, and they like have like with the clamps or whatever, this whatever. And then they also have ones that have speakers, and it's just like a whole thing. And like tools are so expensive.
Wait, custom built for snowmobile?
No, like just like the mounting part. Like, do you know what I'm talking about? Have you seen those or no?
No, I have not.
Okay, but you know the pack out.
Shaking my head, yes. Like I know what you're talking about, but I actually we were talking about the things that you roll your tools in and they all stack on top of each other.
Okay.
The pack out
in the back of the trucks. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. And you can mount them to the tunnel, and it's like waterproof. You can put the little speaker on top. You can just kind of like switch them out. It's pretty sick. I don't know. Milwaukee, I always thought would be kind of a cool one.
Oh, that's a great answer. They make everything from hand tools to like a heated vest to drills to table saw. Like it doesn't matter. You're just in heaven. Yeah, that's
your garage would be looking really good.
Oh yeah, matching. You get red cabinets to match. I mean, I'm a DeWalt guy, but I respect that answer. Yeah. First try, must land. We'll just say massive backcountry step down, like hairball, like gotta land. What's your go-to?
Okay. Like in run is dead straight.
Sure.
Okay.
I mean, we can add that to the list.
Whatever you want.
Yeah.
Well, because then you don't want to fight the mountain, so it's I don't know. Back 7.
Back 7. Before backy.
Dude, on a jump, yeah, for sure. For sure, yeah.
Okay, I like it. Last question. Worst trend. What do you got?
Damn. Worst trend is like faking that you are like, or what am I? Okay. Worst trend is like the fake attitude of like, oh dude, it's cool, like we're friends. Like if you don't get along, like like I feel like that a lot in like the industry. It's like because of like, dude, if you don't want to like fuck with me, then don't fuck with me. Like insane, whatever, like that's cool. Like and I guess I'm saying just worst trend because it's a snowboard pocket, just in the snowboard world. But that's like my biggest pet peeve. It's like people are just say what up to me because like someone's next to me. That's like the worst vibe ever. It's like, dude, you just saw me 2 days ago driving or wherever, and you didn't say what up. And then now because I'm standing next to whoever with some, it's just like such a bad vibe. But then you can kind of sort them out.
Yeah.
Who the real ones are pretty quickly.
Yeah. We're in Salt Lake City, the Mecca too, where you borders everywhere you look.
Yeah. So I get, to thin up the answer, it's just, fake attitude, I guess, be yourself, just like, whatever, be you.
Good answer. I like it. Let's get into setups. You talked about it, but how do you set that board up particularly? Bindings, everything else?
This one, I go 1 screw back from reference on the front foot. I go 18 posi 3, or posi, and nothing with the high backs. Crank them down tight. I like it. I like feeling like when you're going switch that you're going fakie, kind of, I don't know. It just feels more like, I don't know, feels better to me. And I also heard like 4 or 5 years ago, that's what Geeky's setup was 18 posi 3. And as soon as I did it, I like never switched it. So
works really good for kink rails too.
It does, yeah. Dude, but when you do get a board slide, and your angles are like that, it looks sick.
You know what I used to love is like the OG like Mueller footage and like Freddie, all those guys were there. Like back in the day, it was hell of posi, and the switch backside. Like their entire body's already like their shoulders already closed, like coming in, and I always thought that
off the lip there at 180.
Yeah, exactly.
You running like stiff boots or soft boots?
The stiffest boots that Salmon makes, the Malamute.
Why?
Because I like to just have a little bit of feedback. I don't like that give out. Responsive. I want something responsive.
What about the Shadow Fit bindings?
Huge fan. It's like one of my favorite parts about the whole setup is the bindings. Like it really feels like it's all like molded as one, like that you can tell that it's all, there's a bunch of thought put into how the boots are supposed to fit in the bindings and how they're supposed to feel. So I really like the Shadow Fit.
Yeah, people that don't know, like the Shadow Fit's like a soft heel cup. So it feels like the high back is kind of molded to the back of your boot in some ways.
Yeah.
Right.
Dude, they're awesome,
Yeah, incredible. And to keep adding to the setup section, I think we got a Patreon question.
Yes, we got one from Jared. He wanted to know, what are your favorite pieces of gear from 686?
my favorite pieces of gear is the go-to is the ATV setup that they got going, which actually they're now done. After next year, they're done making them, but it's the same thing, just with a different name, basically. But dude, like the most waterproof stuff that you could get, and they actually even like, apart from the ATV, my new favorite stuff is they're doing like the 2002 reruns, but they're making it all nice with Gore-Tex, and it's really sick. And wish I knew the name of the exact jacket off the top of my head, but you'll see it. The red throwback. You've seen them 20 years ago, so
yeah. So they're putting out new repopped vintage cuts.
Yeah,
That's
with
so
like
sick.
updated technology. It's pretty
That's
sweet.
amazing.
Yeah,
Love that.
Killer, it's cool to see 686. I mean, Atlas, and then they're filming a new one right now, and we've been checking in with Tommy from the field.
Oh, nice.
They got you guys, they got yourself in the backcountry. I feel like, Brent and Mike West and PMAC, like you guys got a good thing going on over at 686.
dude, they've really been lining us all up, and it means a lot to be a part of that whole thing, because it does feel like you feel like a snowboarder, I guess, like, not that you don't, but, just like as a snowboarding brand, and like, they all love to shred, and they definitely, like, you can tell they really care about what they're doing and the image that they want to portray. So it's cool.
Killer. All right, 2 more questions. One is, do you want to throw any thank yous out before we wrap this thing up?
Dude, yeah, definitely, thank you so much to my mom, my dad for everything, my brothers for being inspo, all my friends, my sponsors, Brent, Sarge, Mike at 686, Kevin, Mike, Harrison, and everybody at Solomon. Like, you guys have supported me a lot, and it doesn't go unnoticed. So thank you so much, and thank you guys for giving me a place to talk, and it feels natural. So it's fun hanging.
Well, congrats on everything. It's great to see you're on a freaking rocket ship heading into the stratosphere in a helicopter with Travis.
Dude, I was
Rice,
going to say, that's
tickling
one
the
more
dragon.
thank you, actually. Yeah, thank you, Travis, for hitting me up. That was a big time. Yeah, that one was sick.
God, just tickle the dragon. You don't want to just tickle it. Next time you want to really,
Dude, we want to ride it. Yeah.
ride the dragon. Yeah, get in there with the dragon.
What was the zone you guys went to? Or do you?
So, our main objective was in the Tordrillos. We were based out of Anchorage, but it was really sick because we got to ride, we did a stability run, and then we got to ride it once, and then it clouded out and it was time to go. But he's never seen this zone before. So it was this new, I kind of picture he's just got everything kind of wants whatever, rebate on some stuff or whatever. But he literally saw the zone. He's like, whoa, he's like, this looks insane. So we went straight there, and it was looking insane. Hopefully it cakes up the exact same way that when we saw it for next year. But yeah, and then we went to the Chugach and then the Talkeetnas when the Tordrillos were kind of socked in. But yeah,
I would have stayed in Anchorage just to hit the down bars there. They got some good steel. Seth, you been there?
Oh yes,
They got some good.
They got some
steel
good
in
ledge.
Anchorage,
They used
brother.
to have a good ledge there at the East High.
Yeah,
nice.
It was great.
Yep. Okay. Lastly, what's next for BMO?
yeah, dude, I just want to keep riding everything that feel. My good buddy, he always just says, "Do what feels good." So I just kind of want to keep doing that, and right now, doing the NST has been super fun. I've definitely been wanting to do that for a while. So I hopefully get to continue to do that. And, to just finding good snow, hanging with the people that, you want to surround yourself with. So, yeah, dude, I just want to keep shredding, and yeah, I'm not going to stop. So
Money.
yeah.
It's been a good show, guys. BMO, thanks for
incredible.
coming and
Dude.
chatting with us. I had a great time.
Thank you guys. Yeah, that was super fun. It's fun hanging. So
My favorite moment was you talking about getting annihilated on the King Trail. That was my highlight.
dude,
That
yeah,
was actually pretty good.
that was good shit. That sucked.
All right, we need to do our sign off. Basically, we need to thank the sponsors, Patreon members, and kind of just take us out of the shed. A little thanks for listening type of deal. BMO, do you want to grace us with the sign off for the episode?
Yeah, do I need to say anything but the sponsors or
Just whatever you want.
Freestyle.
Dude, thank you, Chris, Seth, Silk. You guys are all the shit. Thank you, listeners, for tuning in, and all the Patreons for supporting. And yeah, let's get out of here.
Woo! What a pro! That was legit. This guy's made for radio.